World Wide Web. But let me just restart the feed, going to the Facebook, guys, and see what happens. In the meantime, it's 6:22 in the morning, and welcome to the broadcast. This is the Ray Gibson Show. My name is Ray Gibson. Thrilled, as usual, to be here with you. It's Friday, as I mentioned. You might have heard me report. Today is Friday morning, and what a weekend that we are going to have in front of us. A spectacular week, at least news-wise. I think it was a spectacular week for a lot of people. We'll talk about that and some other great stories that are floating around in the internets and on the cover of today's Guam Daily Post. Kevin Kerrigan will bring us another round of headlines in just a little bit. Michael Knight gets the phone when you call it 888-8255. That's 888-TALK. 988-5874 is the WhatsApp for the radio station. We're technologically a step ahead, I think, of everybody else, because that's the way I like it. I am a technophile, and if you throw me something that has got cool gizmo-ness on it, I'm going to find a way to take advantage of it. So if you've got interesting videos or interesting pictures or interesting audio or just some interesting things to say, like, hey, I couldn't find you on Facebook Live, then hit me on the WhatsApp, 988-5874, and I'll be more than happy to take a look at whatever it is that you're sending and see if there's something that I can do. All right, Ismail, we should be back up, but let me see if I can start off with some of the heroes that might be on the new and improved version of our Facebook Live feed now.
Sometimes you want to go where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came. You want to be where you can see the troubles are all the same. You want to be where everybody knows your name.
There we go. And there's Ismail Velez and saying happy birthday weekend to Josh Tykenko. That's right. It is Josh's birthday this weekend, isn't it? We ought to throw a race for him. Joshy, what do you say? Kick the fat race this weekend. We'll dedicate it in your honor, and there'll be fireworks. That's the fun. Is about this time tomorrow, they will light off not one race but two races out of the Agana area with fireworks. More on that a little bit later on. Nice to see Diana Rose up in Washington State watching the program this morning. Linda Gabriel, Randy Kruger, Carl T.C. Gutierrez, and a few others were online earlier with the other feed, and hopefully in a few minutes they'll find us back here. But I also want to note that today is Lynn Borja. Lynn Vince Borapolino. It's Lynn's birthday today.
Wow,
that's,
birthdays galore.
Yeah, that's not Tina, but Luis Munoz's sister. And the other singer in the band, and today is her birthday. Happy 50, yeah, 51.
Happy birthday, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday to you.
And Johnson Nicholas online this morning says, good morning and good Friday. Like her or not, thank you, Rebecca Black. Who is Rebecca Black and what did she do? Is it what is in my blind spot this morning on Rebecca Black? I don't understand. Mark Colby is online. Another interesting day of under 18 baseball. I don't know if anybody got kicked out of it with any major forfeits yesterday.
I don't think they're going to get many games in today. And going back to
it's supposed to be like there's three great games today. It's like Australia's playing twice. It's Australia versus New Zealand is where they start off today. Right. I mean, yeah. So you got classic rivalry between the Australians and the Kiwis.
I know that I believe first game starts at 11, so maybe by then most of this will blow over. But right now, we've got some pretty heavy rain moving across the island, and we've even got little red dots in there. So that means there's going to be thunderstorms. And it looks like the thunderstorms are actually going to affect more of the central and southern part of the island. So get ready, because it's coming.
Just an unexpected. We were talking about that this morning. I got outside. First of all, I could hear the rain when I woke up, and then I got moving around, and it occurred to me that, hey, this is not the little hazy, sprinkly rain that we've had lately. I mean, this is serious. It got its act together, rain.
Yeah, that's what happened. Again, the shear line pulled north of us, so that pulled some of the dry air out. So now what we're dealing with right now is actual tropical moisture. And with those tropical showers come those big, giant drops.
So that's what we're getting today, and that's what you're going to be getting this morning. Recommendation, bundle up the kids, number one. Number two, try to hit the road a little bit earlier, build in some extra time, because this kind of weather, no doubt, is going to be causing havoc on Guam's roadways. I would this kind of rain, this kind of weather these days, I would actually expect that there are going to be accidents. 6:26 in the morning, and from the table of contents, a couple of stories that I think are going to be interesting, at least for me. A couple of stories that I think are going to be interesting to me that are right right now nothing more. They're not actual news stories yet. They will take form of news stories by the end of the day, I think. But right now, only ads. And I've told you this. My buddy, when I first got into talk radio, a teacher named Luther always told me, he said, Ray, you know, the big stories might be you might think are on the front or the back page of the newspaper. He says, no, the big stories, Ray, are in a lot of the little tiny ads and the little notices that you might find. So if you learn to scour the media for those kinds of things, you will find what will eventually become big stories. Now, I'm you know me. Listen to the broadcast. You know that among my pet peeves, besides that god awful, butt ugly chain link fence over at John F. Kennedy High School, yeah, somebody got me started on that this week. I mean, it was one of those things, and it's like they were teasing me. They said, "Hey, Ray, what do you think of that chain link fence out there?" And I said, you know, that's a testimony to the idiocy of our government. And then I could feel the little blood start to boil and the furrows in my head and the horns popping out. And I could feel that. And I thought, you know, now would be a good time to calm down on this. But I thought, no, just take this for the ride and see where it goes. I said, this is classic testimony to the idiocy of the government of Guam, where we've got the idea behind putting this fence up was to prevent kids from running pell-mell across the street. And so they've got it going from the Kmart intersection all the way clear back to the foodies over at the Shell gas station. And because apparently the kids would want to walk a quarter of a mile away from their car and then run pell-mell across the street. But over the years now, there have been a bunch of drunk drivers that have taken out just little bites out of the front of this thing. So about the first 45 feet of it, there's nothing there to prevent any of the kids from going pell-mell across the street from JFK to Kmart. But do we keep it? Yes. Do we maintain it? Yes, they still maintain it. If it got bent recently, I think somebody went out there and unbent it, but they didn't replace the front end. I don't want you to replace the front end. I want you to take the whole thing out. It is ugly. I think it costs us marks with our tourists and our visitors, and it doesn't even fulfill the purpose for which it was built. It is a testimony to the idiocy of the government of Guam, and it needs to go.
I have a perfect thing to replace it with.
God, that felt good.
Line it with palm trees. They're spaced every 10 feet apart, and then string electric wire between those for an electric fence.
Okay.
Tripled up, and then you just put the signs there, and if they cross, zap.
So there's better ideas that have come up, been given to me. We don't want to hurt anybody. Well,
that's why you have signs.
Yeah, they'll steal the signs. But there's another thing that irks me. If you've listened to the broadcast, you know one of the other things that irks me to no end is when somebody makes tear over at the judge's place, and the judge says, "Okay, well, I'll tell you what, we'll release you on your own recognizance, sin no more, and we'll bring you back here when it's time for the trial." Because you get some of these people who say, Judge, I don't mean to be a ice head, I don't mean to be a ice jug head, but I'm just having a hard time. You know, I went to the store and I bought myself some new Zoris, and I tripped over the Zori, and you know how the front thing came out, and I couldn't put the thing back, so I had to go and find some ice and smoke it to make me feel better, because I could not repair my Zoris that I got from the Kmart place. Please, Your Honor, take mercy upon my soul. Por favor. And the judge will let them go. And so the idea is that's the perfect opportunity to find a way into the Lighthouse Center, to find a way to what we always refer to as come to Jesus. And they don't have that come to Jesus moment. They go out and they sin even worse. They commit even more crimes. So I'm delighted to see, and if we're very lucky, I might be able to actually talk to somebody over at the courthouse about this. There is an RFP for an electronic monitoring services. And I am hoping, I hope that Mr. Lizama, the administrator of the courts, wants to purchase or lease or whatever these electronic devices that we can put on some of these ice machete rapey jugheads, and that way we know where they are. We can see where they are, and if judge says, you know, when the judge is done with dabbing her eyes with the tears of mercy that she shows on these jugheads, she can say, all right, I'll let you go, but you have to wear this thing so that we know. I say you can go to work and home, and if you go someplace that is not work and home, then we will know about it, and I get to put you in the slammer. I get to. That's what I hope this is. Like I said, I'll see if I can get a hold of somebody yak about that later on. And then this interesting ad that is in the news here this morning. Notice that I think they've wrung out all of the victims here of the pedophile priests, and now the canny lawyers over at Berman and O'Connor and Mann have said, well, we don't got anybody. I think we're out of customers around here. So they put out an ad. Notice to FSM clerical sex abuse survivors. This is a notice to those individuals who may have been victims of sex abuse while a minor and while attending any of the following: Pohnpei Agriculture and Trade School, Pohnpei Catholic School, from the 50s until its closure in the late 70s, St. Cecilio in Nueno and Chuk, Xavier High School in Nueno, and from any of the Catholic parishes in Pohnpei and Chuk from the 50s to the present. If you would like to receive legal advice concerning your legal rights and remedies concerning the sexual abuse you suffered, give Mike Berman a call. Isn't that interesting? So, like I said, they start looking around because these cases that they are battling here will eventually be unbattled and sorted out. And as you start looking around any other places where there were Catholic schools and priests and see if there were other pedophile activities going on.
Now, I'm guessing that those particular facilities are not headed under the Agana Archdiocese, correct?
I don't know that they would be. We'd have to find Tony Diaz or somebody. I don't know to what lengths the long arms of the Archdiocese go.
Yeah, because my thinking is now that they've filed bankruptcy, it's too late to file against them anymore.
Well,
I mean, I think you have another 20 days or something, and I'm not sure how that works.
Yep,
But
you could be right. You could be right. And so sadly, this falls at the beginning of the Catholic Schools Week and a whole proclamation signing that is going to be taking place over at the governor's office and annual Catholic Educators Conference and all kinds of other activities that are going to be taking place on that. Ismail, yeah, thank you very much. And yes, I'm that good, Ismail. I am the only one that could make the connection between Ice Jughead lamenting, having something to lament for, because that's got to be the scary thing when you're one of these Ice Jugheads and you're in front of a lady over at the court. You got to come up with a compelling story. I mean, you got to come up, frankly, with something that you probably hasn't heard already. Right? I mean, because you figure as long as we've had ICE and as long as there have been, the people over at the courtrooms, they have heard probably everything. So you got to come up with something cool, like, I got rockin' my Zori, and that's why I need help. I need help, lady. 6:34. There is an interesting story about a lady at the court that is looking to show some concerns from the bench for one of these addicts that came before her recently. We'll spend a little bit of time on that. At 6:35, though, time for headlines from the Guam Daily Post. Here is Kevin Kerrigan.
Half a day and good morning, Guam. And the headlines from the Daily Post this morning: in Superior Court yesterday, Vince Miquel Bento, one of the defendants accused in the largest prescription drug bust on Guam, challenged the prosecution's decision denying his eligibility for the adult drug court. The drug court program offers first-time offenders the opportunity to plead guilty, enter into treatment, and wipe their criminal records clean. Benito has been negotiating a plea agreement, and in court yesterday, his legal counsel argued that the AG doesn't have a say in whether a defendant qualifies for drug court, and they will file for reconsideration. Benito is accused of stealing 3 watches from the Rolex boutique at the Plaza in Tumon in January 2017. The watches were valued at more than $30,000. When police searched a home where Benito was believed to have traded one of the stolen watches, investigators uncovered thousands of prescription pills and stolen and unregistered firearms. Benito is scheduled to be back in court February 13th for a trial-setting date. Ian David Waukee, who pleaded guilty to drug possession in November, has now been accused of drug possession again after being arrested for failure to appear in court. Bench warrant was issued for Waukee on January 8th after he failed to show up when he was picked up by police on January 18th. Waukee allegedly had in his possession more drugs. That, according to Assistant Attorney General Matthew Phelps. When he appeared in court yesterday, the first thing Superior Court Judge Anita Sicola said to Waukee was, "You don't look good. You look kind of gray. Are you sick?" asked the judge. Prosecution said they decided not to charge Waukee again and begin new judicial proceedings. Instead, they chose to enter this latest drug possession accusation as a violation under Waukke's current case. Government of Guam has received another extension to comply with the federal requirements to issue driver's licenses that comply with the Real ID Act of 2015. The new compliance date is now April 10th. The U.S. Department of Homeland Security said in a letter to Governor Leon Guerrero on January 12th that DHS's website previously stated Guam's extension to comply with the law ended January 10th. The federal government shutdown is part of the reason for the extension now. Yesterday, the Navy's Public Affairs Office on island announced that those seeking access to Naval Base Guam, service providers, businesses, or for any other reasons, they will now have to show Real ID compliant IDs starting on February 4th. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post.
6:38 is iConnect time here in the studio. Swing by an iConnect location sometime today and see if you can get yourself started on some great new plans for your telecommunications needs in 2019. What do we got for you? We got internet and mobile and push-to-talk plans from iConnect.
Family Finance has been serving the people of Guam since 1959, and they'll continue to be there for you in the years to come. Whether you're looking to get a personal loan for that summer vacation or paying off those long overdue bills, Family Finance has got you covered. Apply for a personal loan from $1,000 up to $3,500 by calling Family Finance in Hagåtña at 475-4545, Upper Tuon 647-5626, or in Dededo 633-4473. Family Finance has been serving the people of Guam since 1959.
I don't know where I saw it. It was somewhere recently, and I saw a picture of something kind of new, kind of unusual. Got my attention because it looked like it was just loaded with meat. It was a picture of the all-new Italian-style spaghetti at Wendy's.
Yes.
Zesty tomato sauce and just mounds, heaps of seasoned ground beef and hot and fresh pasta. It's the whole recipe for spaghetti goodness. Comes in a couple of different sizes. Snack size for $3.49 or double that for $6.49. Yeah, you heard me right. Spaghetti at Wendy's. Now that's better.
It's Micronesia Mall's 30th anniversary, and to celebrate, we are giving away a new Kia Soul LX, a Mazda 3i Sport, the popular Honda Civic LX, and 30 Manila Flyaways during our 30th anniversary Drive-Away Flyaway. Win 3 great cars from Triple J Auto Group, 30 Flyaways from Philippine Airlines, plus thousands of prizes from Burger King and Foot Locker when you play Micronesia Mall's 30th anniversary Drive-Away Flyaway.
Yeah, it's going to look like that. 20 away from the top of the hour. Almost don't need to turn on the traffic gizmo. I know it's going to be slow in most of the locations that you are going to be trying to drive through. We'll take a look in a second and see if I can find some traffic issues up at Anderson Air Force Base or Big Navy or something like that. We'll see. Let me just is it on? Is the machine playing today? Yes, there it is. And do I see any slowdown locations right in front of Anderson Air Force Base? You might see traffic beginning to build, but it should get you moving through there. And if you don't have a real ID or a passport, it might be tricky getting into the bases. We'll talk about that as the program continues. Don't see too much happening over at 8, 10, and 16. Right now, that intersection looks clear. 10 and 15 clear. 4 and 10 is looking good. And traffic making your way through Route 4 into the downtown Hagåtña area is looking good as well. Still clean going southbound Marine Corps Drive from Jigo into Dededo and Dededo into Tumon and Upper Tumon. Don't see anything in front of Navy Hospital or Big Navy in Sumai right now. So, like I said, try to hit the road as early as you can because I know this rainy Friday is going to make a mess of traffic later on.
Hi, welcome to this Subway ad for our all-new Ultimate Cheesy Garlic Bread. How would you like it?
I'll take a skeptical grandma.
Set in her ways?
A smidge.
Grandma, try this ultimate meatball marinara made with ultimate cheesy garlic bread. Melted mozzarella, Parmesan, garlic butter spread. It's just like yours.
Like mine? My grandmother's recipe?
Try it.
You know, my grandmother's cheesy garlic bread was never all that.
Subway, make it what you want. Limited time only at participating restaurants.
News to fill your mind. Talk to get it out. The Ray Gibson Show.
Yeah, heard of that guy. Maybe you have too. In 19 minutes, it'll be, 7 o'clock in the morning? And the sun not up yet, and not much by way of a sunrise this morning with all of the rain. You take a look at your Facebook Live right now, and you'll be able to see a little bit of what the radar imagery looks like right now. And clearly you can see that we've got just a mess of rain that is going to run over the central and northern stretches of the island. Southbound is not going to get spared. I can see a little bit of weather that is going to be washing through the south here as well. About the only place that's going to get spared looks like it's going to be Sumai and Big Navy area and a little bit of the mountain highlands that we've got in the middle of the island. But virtually everybody else is going to get it. We're going to get wet today, ladies and gentlemen, and that's all there is to it. Let me see if we can scare up some of the conversation on Facebook Live and see what people are talking about already. Let me see here. Sonny Cruz, Colby game still on. If it's raining, bruh, well, the league guys will take a look at the field conditions, obviously, and see what that has to say. Amanda Shelton online this morning. Rainy news. Sonny Cruz, Hoffa Lady D up in Jigo. There's Mark Cruz also up there. Arlene Collins. Good morning, Arn. Nice to see you. Are you not running this morning? Jennifer Louise Dula, Mingo Ree. I got Doris Mendiola, Greg Karabrock from over at FHP. Actually got FHP Take Care folks coming in later on today. There's a lot going on there. And they have been approved by the National Cancer Institute. They have approved the addition of FHP Health Center to its NCI Community Oncology Research Program. FHP's affiliation with the University of Hawaii Cancer Center's Minority Underserved NCORP will allow patients in Guam to participate in NCI-sponsored cancer clinical treatments. That ought to give some hope to folks that are suffering from cancer here on Guam, knowing, you don't know about some of the new technologies and the new drugs and the new therapies, and oftentimes, because we are on Guam, we're not necessarily thought of as targets for some of these clinical trials. But I guess they've asked, and the Cancer Institute has said yes. So we'll talk about that later in the program. It's Friday, and you know how I like to have attractive women with brains on the program, and so Shalyn is going to be joining me in the 9 o'clock hour as well. And we'll also be talking to folks. There is a hard and almost unbreakable rule in the Ray Gibson Show, and that is we don't do in-studio interviews at in the 7:30 hour. That's where I try to make it so that it's just me and you, or just me and you and somebody on the phone. But I almost never bring anybody in because it's drive time, and I want to make sure that it's always conversation related. Now, as I said, it's an almost unbreakable rule. And I've only broken it for a handful of people. My brother, whenever he asks, and whenever there's a general or somebody from the high command that needs to get in and advise the community, and governors. I've also broken the rule for governors. Today, I'm going to be breaking the rule for some friends of mine that want to help out the Coast Guard. And I know that there's a lot of people that we talk about that are being affected by this federal government shutdown. The guys over at the TSA and air traffic controllers and a handful of other people, including, oddly, members of the Coast Guard here. And you and I, you think about it, you and I know a couple of people that are otherwise affected by this shutdown. So there's going to be at Jimmy D's tonight a get-together, a fundraising event that is being thrown by the Chief Petty Officers Association. Starts about 5 o'clock. There's a $10 admission, gets you a drink. There's food and drink specials going to be taking place all night. Live auctions and raffle items. Now, I don't know what the live auctions are, but I suspect that somebody was playing around with the idea of like auctioning off, like win a date with a coastie. And I thought, what a great idea that would be. With this, depending on how long the shutdown goes, this could be, kind of a long date. This could be like, how long have you been dating? It's like 3 months until Pelosi and Trump managed to get together until the end of the shutdown. So could be one of those. We'll let you know. We'll get you some details on this a little bit later on the program. 646 in the deal. Oh, there he is. And Sean Gumatauta, like I said, always nice to know that I can always reach out to Shawnee and find out what's going on over at the courthouse. Good morning, John.
Hey, good morning, Ray. How are you?
Not bad. What's the plan for the weekend? What are you and those crazy kids going to be up to?
I know I have some soccer on Saturday and some yard work, but other than that, just going to kind of mellow out for the whole weekend.
Did they just started a new soccer league, didn't they?
Yeah, actually, my son's playing in the U13 Minetgut League with the Shipyard Wolverines, so they have a game this on Saturday. And
Right.
But the big league begins on I think it was February 9th or something like that.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking about like high school age kids.
Oh no, my high school kid. I know practice for Notre Dame begins in March.
Okay, all right. So a lot of stuff to be worried about, and try to get some grill marks in when it stops raining. Anyway, so I noticed that your colleague John Lazam over at the court put in an RFP for electronic monitoring devices. Is this what I think it is? Is this going to be like ankle bracelets and little GPS necklaces that some of these jugheads that go through there will wear?
Yes, it is.
Yes.
As we've been talking about for a couple of months in terms of trying to, help our Superior Court judges in terms of how we can ensure that these folks who are on pretrial release are not only coming back to court but also complying with court orders and also saving some money for DOC. We were able to get that RFP out. I believe it was today.
Yeah.
And so, and I know we're in the local papers, Ray, but I will tell you that it's also part of a national search. I know there's over, I want to say just close to 200 plus vendors. Believe it or not, when the pilot started many moons ago, there was only 2 companies doing this particular type of technology, and so today the technology and industry has really expanded. So it'll be another quiver, so to speak, for judges in their, another arrow in their quiver for them to use to be able to help make sure that the defendants that are complying and making sure that they are also, staying out of trouble.
Yeah, well, and that's the idea, because there's so many of these. I'm on the mailing list for the magistrate reports, and there's all kinds of news stories where we've seen people that are already on some kind of felony release that just have not gotten the message and continue to go out there and deal with drugs or otherwise get themselves in all kinds of trouble, when frankly they should be restricted in their movements to just school and work and home, as opposed to just being able to ride all over the place and get into more trouble. I think if we can surveil their activities a little bit more and let the marshals know when somebody has crossed some kind of geo fence, it will go a long ways to providing that security to the community again.
Yeah, that's right, Ray, and I think that's a great point. Including, and I think we've had this discussion many times before, but also. Oh, yeah. The electronic monitoring program, obviously, the rules are being they've been they're drafted. They're being looked at. Judges have been reviewing it for over a month now. We expect them to have a decision soon. But as important as this, we talk about prosecuting attorneys at the Attorney General's office. So they're going to be very key in this, as well as defense attorneys. So it's not just okay, judge, here, you give us some kind of decision. It'll be, in total, the justice system will have another tool at their fingertips.
Well, I'm hoping it all works out. Any ideas on the quantities that you are that the court is considering purchasing?
Well, at this
or
point,
leasing?
not yet. At this point, not yet. I think the biggest thing is, again, getting the word out to these vendors. We do have our appropriation from the legislature, so we're going to have to wait and see, Ray. I think the also important, we just picked up Rosanna Villagomez-Uggan, the new chief probation officer. A little-known factoid about her: she is the one at the district court, at the U.S. District Court here in Guam, who actually started the electronic monitoring with the federal courts here. So her experience in this particular process is going to be huge for the judiciary.
Yeah. So you got kind of a head start there. You got somebody that's got some actual road experience on working with these devices and has seen where the successes are and where some of the shortfalls might be.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because I know it's not going to solve every problem that we've got with some of these unfortunate recidivists that we've got around here that take advantage of the revolving doors over at the courts. But I think for some people this could be the key to seeing their cooperation in the system. There was another topic, along the similar lines, about what happens with people. They go in, they go see the judge, and we're not going to be able to execute a trial right now. I don't want to stick you in jail, but administering some kind of court overseen bail program. There's a couple of friends of mine, lawyers, in fact, that have suggested maybe now is the time to start thinking about putting together some kind of a bail bond program where, in addition to the great marshal service that you have over at the courts, we'd also have guys in the private sector that would be looking after some of these recidivists and criminals as they're out on bail release.
Well, it sounds like members of the Guam Bar Association want to step up and help. That sounds like a great idea.
Well, it's been a topic of conversation, but I don't know that they're, a lot of these guys are busy. I don't know. I'm not trying to volunteer anybody, but
we welcome their input on this particular issue. It'd be great.
Yeah, well, maybe that's something the new Sam will do.
I think that hopefully that we should get them in a room and let's see if we can get this thing started.
All right, electronic monitoring services could be a reality over at the court. We'll see what happens with perhaps some local vendors. I want to say that when you guys did the original test on this a few years ago, I want to say it was a company like G4S that came forward, right?
Yes, it was G4S that did the pilot for us, but like I said, I mean, when that pilot was done, there was only 2 companies in the country. Mm-hmm. Today, that is just expanded. So that's the pool is a little different, and we get a chance to see different technologies and consider those and see what would be the best use for Guam.
Well, the truth of the matter is, unfortunately, there's always going to be crooks, and we're not building new jails around here, so we've got to be more efficient and while at the same time providing that degree of safety for the community. Shawnee, it's always great talking with you. We'll get together again soon. All right.
Yes, thanks, Ray, and Happy New Year, because this was the first time I got to speak to you this year. So
really?
Happy New Year to you and Mike and the boys.
Well, you know what? Just FYI, next week sometime we're going to be celebrating the first anniversary of this program.
I know it is.
Isn't that crazy?
Fast, isn't it?
Yeah, it certainly did. It certainly did. And hopefully be able to look at the last 365 days and find an accomplishment or two. Something that we managed to fix around here. I'll talk to you.
You're doing pretty good so far, Rick.
Thank you. I appreciate that. It's 6:53 in the morning, and on that very warm note, I'm going to let you go, Shawnee. I appreciate that. Hope your kids win in the soccer. Commissioner Roy Gamboa online. Mary Park, Hafalai Ken, Leon Guerrero is there. Joe Leasealangi, June Bells. Good morning to see you. Tenelta Nelson Maury, and I said Amanda Shelton is already there. There's a bunch of people that I missed. Where'd I stop at? Charlene Marchessault, Bob and Connie Bartonico. Go Seniors! See you guys at the race tomorrow. Anita Muffness in the Valentine's Eyes. There's Rico Blancaflor and Melissa Salas Akimoto, Cindy Rapadas, Tony and Annette Unpinko Ada, Juanita Machias Waven, Rai St. Nicholas, Darlene Blas. There's Heather Perez and Joey St. Nicholas, Tommy Barcinas, Charlie Laron, and Greg Carabrock, Doris Mendiola, et cetera, et cetera. It's great to have you guys online with me on this particular day because it's Friday, and as I point out, it's Friday, baby. Do me a favor. Find a way to make this weekend epic. And there's, right off the top of my head, there's the easy one, which is the Kick to Fat race. And maybe you're one of those, dude, I'm still on the couch, man. I'm not ready for a 5K. You know, it's 3.1 miles, and you're not going to beat Derek or Desmond Mandel, so just get in there and just do it for the exercise of it, right?
Yeah, and I'm happy to announce that I'm now under 180 pounds, so I'm no longer eligible to be kicked.
Ah, very good, very good.
I'm happy about that.
Well, and now I'm going to make a big deal about this because I think it's important that you know that I'm in your corner. I'm behind you, and we're going to work through this together. But my producer Michael Knight is attempting to quit smoking, and now you might not say it on the radio, but I'll say it for you because now you're not only accountable to yourself and me, but you're accountable to all of the listeners too.
Yeah, I was kind of not going to bring it up because I don't like. Well, you know, because it seems like when people start talking game, then they suddenly, they fall on their faces. And for me, I just, I've decided over the past months, actually, I've been psychologically working myself into this. And the fact of the matter is that I feel like I may be suffering some adverse health issues from the smoking that I've done over the years.
Yeah.
And a certain amount of fear is now starting to set in. And fear is a great motivator.
Oh, yeah, I'm with you on that one, 1,000%.
Yeah. So by the time I get back on Monday, I will be completely cigarette free. I'm going to give the rest of mine to another coworker here who is still very much into smoking, and we'll see how it goes. So I'm not making any promises, but I'm going to do my best.
All right.
For me, it was price. What's the cost of the pack?
Right, and and that's another thing that's really factoring in. I mean, I've had to cut my costs here. I've shut down my internet.
Is it $8 a pack now?
It's about $8.50, yeah, for the ones I smoke. Yeah, so it's way beyond even rationalizing anymore in terms of that. So.
Yeah, that's what Roy Gamboa is saying. It's the price of cigarettes alone should make people ponder the idea of quitting. Yeah. So good luck to you, and the best advice I can give you is sometimes it's good to replace it with something else. So
like beer?
I was thinking heroin, but I don't know how hard that stuff is to get, or cocaine or something like that. I go down to Iran and check out the boys and see what they might be able to help you with. I went through, and anybody that knows me, I was a 30-year 2-pack-a-day smoker. I mean, I was
never smoked
totally into it. Yeah. Well, I was young, and I thought that this is one of those things that I'll eventually get around to quitting. Well, I eventually got around to quitting while I was in my mid-40s, and after I had my daughter. So I thought, well, this is there's the wake up call. But it literally took me years. It wasn't that long to quit smoking cigarettes.
Right.
So I was able to after I started running. The day that I decided I was going to be a runner was the day I smoked my last cigarette. But prior to that, I had been weaning myself off and almost become kind of a social smoker. Yeah. But I wasn't able to break the nicotine habit. For me, that was the hardest part about it was not just eliminating cigarettes from my life. It was breaking the nicotine habit. That's what I was really addicted to at the end. And so I went through everything. I took the gum, and after a while, when I realized the gum was even more expensive than the cigarettes themselves, I actually went to the store. I'd buy the tobacco plugs. Just take out little tiny bits of tobacco and stick them in my mouth and salivate with that for a while. And that kept me going for a while until my daughter came to me tearfully because her mother told her to tell Daddy that you wanted to quit chewing tobacco, otherwise he'll get mouth cancer, and I'd cry. And so she did. And that's when I eliminated all of the nicotine from my life, and that was the tricky part. Rico Blancaflor say you can do it, Kevin. Smoke for 2 decades and cigarette free now for 10 years. So that's the other thing. Everybody is going to be supporting you. Mary Shawner Castro says Nicorette worked for her. You got a whole support group here. So Monday we'll check in with you. Now Kevin and I.
They keep getting Kevin and I mixed up. I don't know.
I quit years ago. And Sorry, it's on me.
Yeah, and I mean, I really don't think we sound that much alike. He sounds so much better than I do.
So here's what's going to happen when we go into the Fox News and all the microphones are off. Kevin Kerrigan and I are going to take bets and see how long it'll last. I'm kidding. No! We're not going to do anything like that.
You can do it, Mike. I know you can.
That's it. Look, if all of the changes that we've all had in our lives that bring us all together around here, if you can punch through all of that stuff, you can punch through eliminating cigarettes from your life. There's Derek Munya-Kanata online this morning. Coming up in next hour of the program, we'll take a look at what happened on the markets. The Dow was down a little bit going into the 6 o'clock hour. They should be ringing the bell soon. We'll find out how they are ending up, along with the rest of the American markets. We'll take a look at some of the European and Asian markets as well, and see what's happening with Tapas and with West Texas crude. We got Jerry Roberts live in the studio this morning, I believe, and he's going to be making his way into the office through the rain, so watch out for him. He doesn't have a driver's license or insurance, so just be careful of him weaving through the roadways to get into the studios in time. 7 o'clock in the morning, this is KUSG Hagåtña 93.3. The Point. The Ray Gibson Show continues with Fox News Live.
Two chances to end the shutdown. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. Neither one winning enough crossovers to stay alive in the U.S. Senate. Fox's Jared Halpern live on Capitol Hill.
A pair of votes failed to advance 2 competing proposals to end the government shutdown. The Senate blocked legislation based off President Trump's border wall proposal, 50-47, short of the 60 votes needed. West Virginia's Joe Manchin was the only Democrat to vote yes on the procedural motion. Republicans Mike Lee and Tom Cotton both voted no. A second proposal from Democrats extending current government funding into early February also fell short, 52-44, but found support from 6 Senate Republicans. Lisa.
Thanks, Jared. Earlier today, President Trump tweeting another pledge not to cave on his support for the wall. Late word that Florida's top elections official, Secretary of State Michael Ertel, has resigned. just after testifying about election lawsuits before a state legislative committee. The sudden resignation comes after a Florida newspaper obtained pictures of him in blackface, posing as a Hurricane Katrina victim at a Halloween party 14 years ago, 2 months after the deadly storm. Venezuela's elected president, Nicolas Maduro, keeps trying to give orders a day after the U.S. recognized opposition leader Juan Guaido as the new interim president.
The time for debate is done. The regime of former President Nicolas Maduro is illegitimate.
Secretary of State Mike Pompeo, Maduro has just ordered all Venezuelan diplomats to come home from the U.S. and says he's closing the embassy. But the U.S. has so far ignored his demand for American diplomats to leave Venezuela, arguing he doesn't have the authority to expel them. Maduro's opponents say his election was fraudulent and not legal. On Wall Street, a mixed finish, the Dow down 22 points at the bell. This is Fox News.
Are you a veteran or on active duty looking for a home loan and VA eligible? Then Bank Pacific stores are open to you, where we are a VA approved preferred lender. That simply means we can give you faster credit approvals and loan closing. And with today's super low rates, you just can't go wrong. Bank Pacific's My VA Loan, where we're open to closing your loan in a hurry.
Bank Pacific, where others put branches, we place roots.
Equal housing lender, credit conditions apply. Viva Bank Pacific.
Picture KFC's world-famous extra crispy chicken. Now, imagine it glistening in hot honey sauce. Just think about the crispy, sweet heat. Now, it's in your sights. Reach for it. Almost there. Oops, this is a KFC radio commercial. But you can make your picture a reality by getting a Hot Honey Tenders basket.
Also available in Hot Honey Chicken Family Meals. KFC, it's finger-licking good.
A small town in Florida struggling to come to terms with the massacre that unfolded without warning yesterday in a local bank.
Sebring, Florida Police Chief Carl Hoagland could barely hold back the tears when revealing the names of 2 of the 5 victims of the shooting spree inside a local SunTrust Bank branch. But all 5 were women.
Our sisters, our mothers, our daughters, and our coworkers. Perhaps most unfortunate is that now we refer to them as victims.
And while a motive is still unknown, police reveal the suspect wore a bulletproof vest and used a handgun to shoot the women in their chests or backs of their heads. He faces 5 counts of capital murder. In Sebring, Florida, Eben Brown, Fox News.
That suspect, 21-year-old Zephan Zaver, was ultimately captured by a SWAT team. He is held without bond after an initial court appearance today. An undocumented man suspected in 4 murders in Nevada is due in court today, but not for the killings.
Wilber Martinez Guzman is accused of murdering 2 women inside their homes in Douglas County, Nevada, as well as an elderly couple in Reno. But the 19-year-old El Salvadoran was caught and is being held in Carson City, Nevada, where District Attorney Jason Woodbury has charged him with burglary for pawning stolen property.
When a pawn shop takes in property, they actually log the property in a program called Leads Online. Law enforcement can review to see what property was pawned, who pawned it, when.
Immigration Customs Enforcement, or ICE, has issued a detainer for him. And because of that legal status, President Trump tweeted about this case earlier in the week. Jessica Rosenthal, Fox News.
Investigators in California just announcing that a deadly wildfire that killed 22 people in 2017 in wine country was caused by a private electrical system, not by the equipment of the utility, PG&E, which remains under scrutiny for other wildfires. I'm Lisa Brady. This is Fox News.
Docomo Pacific is making the Better Together bundle even better. 2 great services plus more. Get unlimited local calls, SMS, and 20 gigs of data, plus unlimited home internet for $109 a month. Sign up today and get free installation and choose between a free Galaxy S8, S8 Plus, or $100 off select devices. Mobile plus online from Docomo Pacific. Better together. Some conditions apply. See store for details.
Save big. Save really big when you bundle up your insurance policies with Nanbo Insurance. Insure your home, auto, motorcycle, or business with Nanbo and enjoy great savings, up to 50%. When it comes to insuring your property, no one knows better than the company with over 50 years of service to the community. Don't compromise the things that matter to you most. Call Nanbo today at 477-9754 or visit nanbo.com for more information. Nanbo Insurance, serving you since 1968.
Family Finance has been serving the people of Guam since 1959, and they'll continue to be there for you in the years to come. Whether you're looking to get a personal loan for that summer vacation or paying off those long overdue bills, Family Finance has got you covered. Apply for a personal loan from $1,000 up to $3,500 by calling Family Finance in Hagåtña at 475-4545, Upper Tuon 647-5626, or in Dededo 633-4473. Family Finance has been serving the people of Guam since 1959.
Half a day and good morning, Guam. News time here at The Point is 7 minutes past 7 a.m. this Friday morning. I'm Kevin Kerrigan. Here's a look now at some of the top stories from the Guam Daily Post. Freshman Senator Jose Terlaje has hired a number of staffers for his senatorial office who have had brushes with the law in the past. The senator's chief of staff, Charissa Tenorio, made headlines after she was arrested in October 2017 by the Mandaña Drug Task Force after allegedly threatening a woman who provided police with information that led to the discovery of a huge contraband smuggling and bribery case at the Department of Corrections. Felony charges of extortion and witness tampering against Tenorio were dismissed last year. Therese Hart, a legislative analyst for Senator Terlaje, pleaded guilty to money laundering in 2005. She forged the signature of her father on a settlement agreement with Guam Memorial Hospital and was placed on 5 years probation. And Senator Terlaje's committee director, Daylene Wacky, was named in a federal drug forfeiture case. She shipped a Chevrolet Tahoe from California to Guam that was allegedly bought with drug trafficking money. In April 2016, Wacky agreed to the forfeiture of $13,554 in cash, as well as several TVs and computers. Senator Terlaje telling the Guam Daily Post that he is aware of those incidents, but said there were no convictions. The former Jonia mayor has hired 10 staffers at an annual cost to taxpayers of $276,484, more than any other Guam senator. Guam police have arrested 2 young men in connection with 2 separate fatal traffic accidents. Highway Patrol Division officers yesterday took 22-year-old Austin Travis Mesa Rabon of Jonia into custody on allegations of vehicular homicide, vehicular negligence, speeding, and reckless driving with injuries. Rabon is charged in connection with the November 10th fatal auto pedestrian crash on Marine Corps Drive by the Payless supermarket in Jigo. The pedestrian, Patterson Galen, was killed in that accident. Traffic investigators yesterday also were arresting 25-year-old Charity Murley Alex of Manilao. He's facing allegations of vehicular homicide, vehicular negligence, imprudent driving, and driving without a driver's license. Alex was the driver involved in the January 6th fatal crash on Airport Road by Papa's Restaurant. He is alleged to have encroached into the oncoming lane and struck a vehicle being driven by Yoon Sik Park. Park died 6 days later after the injuries he suffered in that crash. Both Rabon and Alex were booked and confined. We'll have more news after this.
Security Title is honored to sponsor Ray Gibson on The Point. In 2019, we resolved to continue our mission of protecting and ensuring the land and homes of our beautiful island. Additionally, we resolved to maintain our vital connection to our families and our community. Protehi Itinotmo, protect your land. When it comes to your family land, remember to call the professionals at Security Title, just like you call Ray Gibson in the morning.
Cheers to 80 years. It's our 80th anniversary and the gifts are on us. 80 gift certificates, 8 shopping sprees, 8 staycations, and 1 round-trip flyaway for 2 to Manila. So how do you enter? Calvo's Insurance personal home and auto customers are automatically entered. Non-Calvo's customers may enter by receiving a qualified quote. It's our way of saying thank you for trusting us for the past 80 years. For more details, visit calvos.com/giveaway or call 472-6816. Calvo's Insurance, serving Guam for 80 years.
10 minutes past 7 a.m. here at The Point. In Superior Court yesterday, Vince Michael Benito, one of the defendants accused in the largest prescription drug bust on Guam, challenged the prosecution's decision denying his eligibility for the adult drug court program. The drug court offers first-time drug offenders the opportunity to plead guilty, enter into the program, and wipe their criminal records clean. Benito has been negotiating a plea deal, and in court yesterday, his legal counsel argued that the Attorney General doesn't have a say in whether a defendant qualifies for the drug court or not, and they'll file for reconsideration. Benito is accused of stealing 3 watches from the Rolex boutique at the Plaza in Tumon back in January 2017. The watches were valued at more than $30,000. When police searched a home where Benito was believed to have traded one of those stolen watches, investigators found thousands of prescription pills and stolen and unregistered firearms. Benito is scheduled to be back in court on February 13th to set a date for his trial. Ian David Wacky, who pleaded guilty to drug possession in November, has now been accused of drug possession again after being arrested for failure to appear in court. A bench warrant was issued for Wacky on January 8th after he failed to show up. A week later, he was picked up by police and again accused of being in possession of a controlled substance. When he appeared in court yesterday, the first thing Superior Court Judge Anita Sokola said to Wacky was, "You don't look good. You look kind of gray. Are you sick?" asked the judge. Assistant Attorney General Matthew Phillips said they decided not to charge Wacky again and begin a new judicial proceeding, and instead chose to enter this latest accusation of drug possession as a violation in the current case against him. Judge Sokola ordered Wacky back to jail. His next court appearance scheduled for January 30th. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post. Ray and Mike now with some weather.
Yeah, that's the sign. That's the come to Jesus moment when you are so sick and you are so strung out from drugs that even the judge notices how bad you look. I mean, that's
Get
your
up, it's
sign.
Jesus Day.
You continue this path and you will die. That's what the judge is trying to say to you, son. 7:12 in the morning, mostly cloudy, scattered showers, and maybe on some thunderstorms with better conditions this evening and through Sunday night. East winds up to 15 miles an hour, highs around 87 degrees, and overnight lows should be about 77 degrees. There's a sunset scheduled for 6:17 tonight, and we'll sunrise tomorrow morning at 6:48. Now, taking a look at in this case, we've found a way to get an actual GIF off of Mike's radar app and be able to put that on so that you can see just this chunk of sloppy rain that's coming in over the top of the island and even down the southern shores.
Yeah, I like that little radar app. But yeah, definitely stuff moving across right now, so it's going to make the drive from north to central real rough. Looks like they're getting some down south as well, although there are fewer people driving around down there, so probably less of a problem. This looks like a pretty big area of rainfall that's going to continue moving on through for the next hour or so. So just expect a wet drive to work. A lot of this will continue. It'll start to probably, decrease a bit as we go on through the day. I'm really hoping that it stops at least by 9 o'clock so the field can dry out and they can get back on to the baseball games over at Paseo. Checking satellite here very quickly. We see some convection down to our southwest actually kind of popping up and looking strong, but that's going to slide away from us. More moisture coming in through the day today, but should clear up tonight, making for a nice weekend. But a shear line comes back in that you can see on satellite here just right there by the arrow, the timestamp arrow. That's going to cruise on through and bring back some rain showers and those breezy conditions that we like so much.
Gotcha. And while I got my app open, let's take a look at the traffic gizmo and see if there's anything working for you right now. That line of traffic heading towards the Anderson Air Force Base is still there, but it doesn't look like it's going to be working to slow you down too much. I got traffic around Ukadu and the schools up on Route 3, and that is looking ugly and slow as you get around to Guam Regional Medical City. It shouldn't be too much of a problem once you get onto Marine Corps Drive and most of the other intersections, 8, 10, and 16, 4, and 10, and 10 and 15. Right now, running fairly clear. You might see a line of traffic as you're coming into the downtown Hagutnia area because there's a Wendy's on one side and a McDonald's on the other, and I think folks can't resist the opportunity to get their hands on some kind of breakfast. It's 7:14, news, weather, even traffic together here on The Point.
Are you not getting paid what you're worth? Or not reaching your full potential at your job? If you're pioneering, adventurous, competitive, love talking to people, and want to earn $100,000 per year, sell cars on U.S. military bases with Military Auto Source. Start on Guam, stay on Guam, or move to Japan or Korea. To see if you qualify, visit MASEastasiarecruiting.com. Military Auto Source, helping you reach your full potential.
What a sweet morning this is going to be. 7:15, portions of the program brought to you by American President Lines. APL is shipping the future of Micronesia renewable energy. There's never been a better time to go solar. I know it's raining, but it's still a good time to go solar. The guys over at Guam Regional Medical City for all of your specialty care needs. And, of course, King's been feeding us breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Get out of the rain by getting some breakfast at King's in Tumuni or Harmon. Here at Make-A-Wish, our Wish kids wish for all kinds of things. A lot of them involve traveling to faraway places. On Monday, February 18th from 6 until 10, we'll be holding an airlines mileage drive with me, Ray Gibson, on 93.3 The Point, to help us grant these travel wishes. So if you've got spare airline miles, you can donate them without any transfer fees. Your donation will go a long way, and so will our Wish kids. Isn't that nice? 7:16 portions of the program also brought to you by my buddies over at Wendy's, and they are constantly innovating and looking for opportunities to do it better for you. So now Wendy's sells spaghetti. Yes, it's true. They've just unveiled it. It's the all-new Italian-style spaghetti made with zesty tomato sauce, seasoned ground beef, lots of it, and hot and fresh pasta noodles. Comes in a snack size for $3.49, or double that for $6.49. Spaghetti at Wendy's. Now that's better.
Morning talk that matters. It's the Ray Gibson Show. Call now, 888-TALK. That's 888-8255.
7:17, yeah, it's the Ray Gibson Show, and later on this hour, we'll see if we can get some folks in to talk about this Chief Petty Officers Association fundraising event that's going to be taking place tonight at Jimmy D's. The event starts at 5, $10 admission, and that includes a drink. There's going to be food and drink specials, live auctions, all kinds of stuff to raffle off. You know, it's possible. They get into like these seizures of drugs and stuff like that out at sea and pirates and stuff. So I'm wondering, maybe they could bring some of the stuff that they've seized from these crooks and these pirates, and we'll raffle off some of that stuff. Right?
I ain't high, I'll tell you that, man. I don't feel nothing.
You know, maybe some of those containers they've got, those that wash up. You know, take the cocaine. You can have the cocaine. You can do whatever you want. But those containers look kind of cool, right? I'd like to have one for the backyard or something like that, just to put dog food in. Right? That would be the great way to go. Anyway, I'm just all kinds of great advice and ideas for the party. Again, Jimmy D's tonight at 5 o'clock for that. More on that a little bit later on. And I know that for a lot of families, especially the ones affected by the furlough, you're starting to look around for no-cost, low-cost things that you can occupy your family with. So let me share this with you before I get into the rest of the financial stuff. Tomorrow, over at the Guam Museum, there is going to be Ha'anan Familias, A Day at the Reef. It's the Briefly Hours exhibition, and it's free. It is absolutely free. So round up all the kids and take them down there. There's going to be puppet shows at 10:15, 11, and 11:30. Educational booths, obviously, arts and crafts, games, and prizes. And one of my favorite things, and it is a touch tank. 719. I was born and raised on Guam. And have been hiking around and going to the beach ever since I was a little kid. And I learned early to be very, very careful and cautious about some of the creatures and things that you have under the ocean, because some of them will sting you and hurt you real bad. But, the thing is, there's a lot of things that won't sting you and hurt you bad and actually feel good to the touch. You know, the underside of a sea anemone. Have you ever put your hand underneath a sea anemone? The skin is there. I have no words to describe how soft it is. And kind of a leathery feel, but it's just sublimely soft and moist. And anyway, but you wouldn't normally reach out and touch something like that unless somebody at a touch tank like they're going to have will tell you this is safe. You may touch this.
Will somebody date this man, please? Anybody.
It's hot in here. All of a sudden it's warm in the studio. 20 after 7 o'clock in the morning of the Ray Gibson Show. And obviously, Jerry Roberts is here for another version of the Extra Point. We'll get around to doing the Extra Point here.
I'll pay for it. It just doesn't matter.
Just
anybody through the door this morning, you can have a date with Ray Gibson.
See, now we should auction that off for the Coasties, right? That would be a thing. I'm just saying. Zita Titano is there. Eunice Mendiola, Yoitz Ringiel, Terry DeBold, Rose Gumabon, Hoffa Hank Dakanai, and Prudential Meadow with a note. Witnessed a few workers cleaning street curbs filled with cigarettes, runoff trash, etc. A rare occurrence. Yeah, that's one of those things, Prudential. That's the like catching a unicorn live. So next time you see something like that, grab a snap. It's time to take a look at what happened on the markets, and were they any good today? Did anything good happen in the markets? It depends on where you are. If you're heavy into the S&P 500 or the Nasdaq, it was a good day for you. Those markets closed in the green. S&P at 2642, and the Nasdaq closed at 7,073. Dow Jones Industrial Average off by just a hair. I mean, a percent, just a nothingth of a percent down, 24,553, still over 24,000, and that's kind of a big deal. The FTSE and the Nikkei are going to be opening up in the red, but not by deep red. Same percentages as the Dow is off. Hang Seng is up, the Shanghai is up, and the DAX is also up. Looking at West Texas crude this morning, $53.19. That's up almost 60 cents from where it was yesterday. Good news is Tapis is moving down. Not big down. It's only off by about 40 cents, but we'll take that backward motion as a good sign, as a positive sign going into the weekend. I think that's what we've got to do. That's what today has got to be all about. We're launching into the weekend, and I want everybody to plan or in the very least fall into an epic weekend.
Yes, sir.
And so
positive mindset.
Exactly. So I'm going to kick the fat first thing tomorrow morning, and it might be good. Mike's been talking about grill marks today. So there might be some grill marks tomorrow over at the beach place, and I haven't decided about tomorrow night yet.
But the weather that you had hoped for is going to be there. Not exactly. You didn't want a wet track, but it's going to be nice and cool.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm looking for. I want it to be cool. I want it to be as I'm making that way that they're doing it. We got two races that are going to be starting at the same time, and they start them with fireworks at Kick the Fat. So there's going to be fireworks downtown Agotnia tomorrow morning, and so the 5K is going to be going north towards Lupang Towers and then make a turnaround there. The 10K is going to go all the way down to Camp Assen, and then we're going to turn there. So this is my concern, and if we're begging for weather, the version of weather that I want is I want it to be cool and breezy, but not 20-mile-an-hour wind as I'm racing back to Agotnia. I don't want a 20-mile-an-hour headwind. Mike?
Yeah, not going to happen. No, the shear line's not coming through until Sunday, Monday, so we're still going to get the light winds that we've been seeing for the last day or so.
Cool. That will work for me. I will enjoy that, but because I've been running against headwinds, it seems like for the last couple of weeks. 7:23. So that's what happened in market. Jerry Roberts in the studio with, as I said, another exciting round of. And you've been knocking them out of the park this week. I mean, the last couple of ones talking about the third leg and the third leg of the stool of the economy. I'm hoping that there's a lot of people that kind of absorb that and maybe thinking about doing something with the idea.
Me too. That's been a long time.
Yeah.
A lot of people around the world do that very thing, and they invest in their communities, in their states and countries do this. Every state in the union has teams like that. And most countries do too.
Just go and shop for somebody that will come in here and prop up some kind of light manufacturing, financial services.
Well, people know that that good companies that want to expand, they'll look for other places to expand. So, they're in the market for it.
And we're America and Asia. So if you're looking for some place where you are offshore but not quite, this is the place to do it. Welcome to Planet Guam. 7:24. And now Jerry Roberts and this morning's Extra Point brought to you by Guahan Insurance Services.
I've been a pro football fan for decades, and I can't remember a time when so many people were all mad at the National Football League at the same time. We'll chew on that next on the Extra Point.
It's important to have claims process that works for you. At Guahan Insurance Services, we make things simple and convenient. Same door you walk in to purchase your insurance is the same door you open to file your claim. We can't pretend that the car insurance claims process is fun, but we can promise a hassle-free and speedy recovery without any runarounds. For your home, auto, and business insurance, visit us at the Camacho Landmark Center on Marine Corps Drive in Tamuning. Don't forget to like us on Facebook or give us a call at 475-1162 or text 929-SAVE. That's 929-7283.
Since Roger Goodell became NFL commissioner in 2006, the league has been mired in one controversy after another. From his decisions on player discipline to botched handling of two cheating scandals featuring the New England Patriots to the continual, and some would say, the mindless tinkering with rules, to a running battle with Donald Trump over guys taking a knee during the national anthem, to a steady decline in the quality of officiating, which was on full display this past weekend in both of the NFL's conference championships. Goodell doesn't attend public functions anymore because he is roundly booed when he does. In the dozen years he has been the top man in the league office, it's tough to recall a time when he wasn't under heavy criticism. People are upset with the NFL, and it's not just in New Orleans and Kansas City where the home teams lost a chance to go to the Super Bowl. Casual fans and even non-fans have a negative opinion after the uproar caused by referees' decisions in those two games. People are upset, and maybe, just maybe, Goodell and his bosses, the team owners, couldn't be happier. I'm just going to drop that point right here for a moment, and we'll come back to it. For all of the other mistakes during his tenure, fans would likely get off Goodell's back if the officiating improved. Both games last weekend featured multiple plays that were mishandled, and all four teams could make a case for how that impacted them. Messing around with rules has made it almost impossible to determine what a catch is, what is pass interference, the fine line in what is okay and not okay in making contact with the quarterback, and a bunch of other things that make up judgment calls. And those calls are often enforced unevenly by referees who throw a flag one time and the next time nothing. It makes the players, coaches, and fans confused and angered over this inconsistency. Fans take to forums and social media and scream for Goodell to be fired, some threatening to stop watching the games. Few will follow through. It's possible the NFL leadership and ownership are ecstatic. And why is that? Because anger is passion, and it shows that people are highly passionate about the NFL. In the world of marketing, this is the business lesson here. That's what you want. If fans had just yawned over what took place in the two games, smiled, and went on to the next thing without so much as a raised eyebrow, that would be cause for serious concern. The NFL owners are rolling in money, billions and billions, as league revenues have skyrocketed under Goodell's watch, and that's why his contract was renewed. They pay Roger almost $50 million a year for the fans to boo him. So what will happen now? They'll tinker a little more with the rules, add a technological wrinkle or two, which they say will help the refs do a better job, and in the end, maybe things will improve. Or maybe next year at this time, we'll again be yelling at our TVs, wondering why they still can't get it right, and that will be music to the NFL's ears. That's the extra point. Get out there and make something good happen today. For 93.3, The Ray Gibson Show and Guahan Insurance Services, I'm Jerry Roberts.
Well, it's a takeoff on the old no news is bad news, good news. It's all news, and
If you're
the worst
talking
thing
about-
is the worst thing is if people aren't talking about you.
That's exactly right.
Yeah. So it's a lot of people, and another recent example of that is the Gillette ad. Had you heard about that in the
haven't
social
seen it, but I've
media?
heard about it.
Yeah. So it goes and it starts based on the Me Too movement and questioning the idea that boys will be boys and all of this stuff, and they're looking for to put a little bit more. How do I want to interpret what the ad was saying for men not to be so toxic in their masculinity in 2019 and beyond? And trust me, there are a lot of people that disagreed with that concept and the concept of toxic masculinity just from the day one that were just all kinds of upset about that. And there's all these people that are calling for a boycott of Gillette and what a terrible, terrible thing it is. But everybody
and who owns Gillette?
What's that?
And who owns
I have
Gillette?
no idea who owns
Robert
Gillette.
Kraft, who owns the New England Patriots.
Oh, by the way, yeah. So that's the deal, I guess, is that eventually it's just a question of making sure that somebody is always talking about you. And you know what? Remember the name. Spell it correct. Gillette is the way you spell that. If you're going to complain about us, make sure you spell it right in the headlines.
These guys, they're north of $10 billion a year for playing 5 or 6 months out of the year. And they're heading towards 20, and they think they're going to make big money in Europe, starting with the UK.
Yeah.
And they're looking at Mexico, and they want to put teams there. And they're going to expand this league, and the money is just amazing. And, it's all television.
Sure.
The rules based are such because they don't want the games to go longer, because that might impinge upon Fox's TV schedule or whatever other network.
Yeah.
And that's part of it. So the TV guys are kind of controlling the thing along with the sponsors, and the NFL just has their hands out taking the money and whatever you want, buddy. Anything you want.
You want to put us in Europe? You want to put us in Antarctica? You want to help create some platforms using social media and cell phones and digital technology so that we can sell some more ads? No problem. We'll assist you with all of that, and we'll create a controversy from time to time so that people are interested in this product. Even hire a guy to take a knee every once in a while and just stir things up with throw some red meat out into the crowd.
It sounds far-fetched, but the idea is that it's all good for them when this happens.
So I'm wondering if somebody's got the 10 minutes to do the research. I wonder if these are all takeoffs on what was done in the Roman Colosseum for hundreds of years. Is it possible that they detected the means to have people's attention constantly on what was going on in there by the manufacturing of or exploitation of certain failures in the system? Interesting stuff there. It's always interesting with Jerry Roberts. In today's Extra Point, Roy Gamboa chiming in says, true indifference is the sign of the end of everything. And Alicia Canetta with a note here for drivers, stay safe. Roads are wet. Hit and run. Really? Hit and run near Mighty out in the McDonald's area. I'll check the traffic gizmo and see how bad that's backing things up here in a second. At 7:31, we'll run into headlines from the Guam Daily Post. Here's Kevin Kerrigan.
Half a day and good morning, Guam. In the headlines from the Guam Daily Post this morning, the Guam Contractors Association Board voicing some concerns yesterday during a meeting with Delegate Michael San Nicolas about his position on the latest developments in the ongoing H-2B crisis. Senator San Nicolas is back on Guam from Washington, D.C., and attended the meeting in person along with his district director, Jennifer Wynn. Over the past week, Governor Lou Leon Guerrero and the island's business community have raised the alarm over the latest blow delivered by the Department of Homeland Security, which removed the Philippines from the list of countries eligible to take part in the H-2B visa program. Delegate San Nicolas issued a statement Wednesday saying, it's clear that the tit-for-tat of using lawsuits to address Guam's H-2B issues is only going to further complicate matters. I look forward to an opportunity to reset the dialogue, he said. At the meeting yesterday, however, GCA President James Martinez said board members expressed concern about that statement. Martinez said the delegates seemed to think that the contractor's lawsuit against the Immigration Service over the denial of H-2B petitions had aggravated the situation. We knew he was misinformed, said Martinez. In an emailed response to the Guam Daily Post, Delegate San Nicolas stated, if the GCA believes we are mistaken or misinformed, we invite them to continue along their current course if they feel it is wisest. A Superior Court jury yesterday found 31-year-old Robert Tyrone Diaz Regis guilty of sexually assaulting a 28-year-old woman while she was intoxicated. Regis was convicted of felony criminal sexual conduct and fourth-degree criminal sexual conduct as a misdemeanor. Regis and the victim were out drinking with friends in 2017 when the incident occurred. Following the verdict, prosecuting attorney Sean Brown yesterday said the case was about someone who took advantage of a young female while she was intoxicated. We are pleased with the results. The government of Guam has received another extension to comply with the federal requirements for Real ID compliant driver's licenses. The new compliance date is now April 10th. The federal government shutdown is part of the reason for the extension. Yesterday, the Navy's Public Affairs Office issued an advisory notifying all visitors and service providers that they must show a Real ID compliant ID effective February 4th in order to be admitted to Naval Base Guam. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post.
It's 7:34, and that's iConnect time. There's an iConnect near you. Find it and ask them about 2019 plans for your telecom needs. Push to talk mobile and internet to hook you up. 888-8888. Introducing Exchanged, Guam's first online and mobile remittance to the Philippines. Exchanged is the easiest and fastest way to send money to your family and friends anywhere in the Philippines. Download the Exchanged app or visit their website, exchanged.me. Sign up, remit, and get a chance to win a trip for two to Manila. Deluxe accommodations at the Belmont Hotel at Resorts World Manila. So sign up and remit now at Exchanged. Promo ends March 2nd, 2019. Conditions apply. Also avail of Exchange dollar to remit promo. Visit exchange.me for details. Let me see here. Yeah, there's traffic. It ain't good out there. As Lady Alicia says on Facebook, there looks like the hit and run near the McMobile on Route 8. I'm looking at the traffic gizmo, and it is definitely slowing down traffic in both directions over at that McMobile area there. So a little bit of patience is going to be going a long way. 8, 10, 16 also getting busy from the Happy Mart intersection, moving slow through that particular intersection. What didn't Glenn say that we're going to start working on that once upon a time? It's almost February, and I don't know that they've done any work on that roadway yet. And it is definitely slowing people down as they make their way through that central corridor here. Through 10 and 15, watch out for the intersection there because it's moving slow in both directions. 4 and 10 also busying up as you're making your way. If you're thinking that Route 4 is going to be the faster way into work this morning, maybe not. Looks like it's getting busy in some of the usual spots getting into the Sinahanya area over by the 76 Circle K, and we've got traffic slowing down in both directions over by where the church is. Nothing over in front of Navy Hospital, although traffic is beginning to build up through there, and I'm looking down all the way into Sumai, and yeah, might see a little bit of traffic trying to get, believe it or not, out of Navy Base, and then making that turn coming out of Agate. It's 7:36. A lot of traffic this morning. If you don't need to be on the road, I'd wait until after 8 and just roll in late and I don't know, show up with infusion or donuts or something like that. Everybody will be happy for you. 7:37. Be right back.
Hi, welcome to this Subway ad for our all-new Ultimate Cheesy Garlic Bread. How would you like it?
I'll take a skeptical grandma.
Set in her ways?
A smidge.
Grandma, try this Ultimate Meatball Marinara made with Ultimate Cheesy Garlic Bread. Melted mozzarella, Parmesan, garlic butter spread. It's just like yours.
Like mine? My grandmother's recipe?
Try it.
You know, my grandmother's cheesy garlic bread was never all that.
Subway, make it what you want. Limited time only at participating restaurants.
Lynn Bora Polino is celebrating her birthday today, and speaking of Boras that got birthdays, my old classmate Ken Bora got birthday today. Happy birthday to you, and since he's my old classmate, I'm going to presume that he is either just now turning 56 or 57. I can't remember whether he's older or younger than me, but I don't think I lapped him. I don't think I've lapped him yet. Anyway, 7:38 in the morning, 888-8255-888-TALK, and there's a bunch of stuff that is going on around me, and things that we're talking about on Facebook. And some advice that my buddy Mike got just a few minutes ago from among our Facebook followers talking about if you need it. Mary Schoner Castro has put up a link on Facebook Live for the Amazon connection to Nicorette. And no, you don't want to do that. You don't want to do the Nicorette. You just get work it out if you can. 7:30. It's pricey. It's pricey. I tried the Nicorette for a while, and I'd always had a hard time. Not necessarily justifying the price, but I remember having a hard time buying it. I mean, you could buy it online if you needed to, which was cool. But the worst part of it was going to Kmart to buy it, which was there are a bunch of different places, but they had the best price available for it over at Kmart. But they kept it behind a lock. For some reason, it was that, and there were a couple of other pills and tinctures and condoms, and they kept those behind lock and key over at Kmart, which meant that if it was just a question of going there and taking it off the shelf and paying for it, that would have been one thing. But for me, it was the pain in the butt of going to Kmart and having to wait for somebody in a red shirt to come by and open the thing up. Made me crazy, and I hated it. So if you can get somebody like an Amazon to sell it to you on the cheap, that will be all right. I'm waiting on getting a couple of folks in here to talk about this CPO, the Chief Petty Officer's fundraising. Come on in, and let's go ahead and get you on the radios and start talking about it right now. My very close, very dear personal friend. Good morning, Myra. How you doing? We'll get your microphone all turned on and say hello to Kevin. This is Kevin Kerrigan. This is my friend Myra.
Good morning.
And in addition to knowing a lot about a lot of things, she is also among my favorite race coordinators with the Guam Running Club. And
you're being too kind.
One of the people, when the GRC has races, she's one of the people that I look out for because I can never remember whether it's a free race or whether I have to pay. And sometimes when I have to pay, those shorts that I'm wearing these days, there's no pockets in those. So that's a.
Well, whenever you wear those shorts, your races are free.
That's the way we'll work it out. Let me see if we can. There it is. Mike's going to work on your camera presence. Get real close to the microphone so everybody can hear you. Are we expecting somebody else, by the way?
Yes, we are.
Yes, we are. Okay, we'll see if they make it in time for the conversation.
Yes.
What with traffic and the weather and all that.
Yeah.
We're all, for the most part, most people I don't know are very, very affected by this federal government shutdown that we seem to be in the middle of.
Yeah.
But we're hearing more and more from people that are the TSA guys, the air traffic controller guys over at the National Weather Service, and surprisingly, people in the Coast Guard community are affected as well.
Yes.
And that kind of blows my mind because they're like a branch of the Department of Defense, and you'd think that if anybody's going to get paid, it's the people that are protecting the near water areas and for all of those things. So it's kind of odd that they're affected by this. And the Chief Petty Officers Association has decided that they're going to be doing a fundraising event. Now,
so that's
you're not a Chief Petty Officer.
No, I'm not.
How'd you get involved in this?
So I do have friends that are in the Chief Petty Officer Department, and I work with, I don't know if you know Andrew Safenlock.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I work with him also. I'm kind of doing an apprentice with him. But anyways, we meet a whole bunch of different people there, and we have people talking about news and politics and stuff like that.
Well, yeah, it's Andy.
Yes, of course. So, yeah, we have a few friends that are in the petty officer department, and I'm helping them, coordinate with getting like
publicity,
for foods, and
there's
entertainment and stuff like that.
So you're helping put the party together.
Yes.
Okay, so I have pledged since this thing began and since it began to look like it was going to be real critical for a lot of families.
Yes.
And that's that's one of the ways that we look at this. We have friends that are in the Coast Guard that the family relies on those checks. I mean, there's moms and dads and kids that aren't getting any money these days, and thank God for the Salvation Army. They're helping out, and they're going on food drives and collecting some funds that they might be able to help disperse out to some of these families, not just Coast Guard families, but federal families that are affected by this. And I'd like to say that it doesn't matter to me whether you're a Coast Guard or not, or whether you know anybody in the Coast Guard. This is going to be a good party to go to tonight anyway, right?
Yes, it will. We're going to have entertainment, lots of different kinds of foods from different restaurants. Every time that we call up any restaurant or any other organization, they're willing to just give anything.
Off the top of your head, name a few of them, because that's my thing here. Is if there's a restaurant, there's a bar, if there's somebody that's providing a service, low cost, no cost, buy one get one free. If you're a member of a federal family, I want to know about it. I want to applaud that, number one, and I want to make sure that members of the federal family know where they're going to go and get a break.
Yes.
So
one of them is Michelle's Cafe up in Manila.
Yeah, I know that place. Yeah.
And then also they're giving us like lumpia and I believe yakisoba for tonight.
Nice.
Yes, and then another one is a restaurant up the road. I think it's called Rob's or something.
Sound familiar? I you know what? I don't know, but if they're helping out in one way or the other, then we applaud them and their efforts as well.
Yes, and then we're also getting some stuff from. I can't remember the restaurant. Oh, that might be Bradley that's trying to find directions to get here.
Well, tell if it's already too late for them to try to get into the conversation, but you can go ahead and turn the sound off if you like.
Okay.
Yeah, I freak out when that happens,
right.
so I don't know what button to press.
Hey, Bradley, we're in the conversation right now. We're already on air. Yes, that is.
That's it. Okay, so Mike, the guy might actually be outside in a second, so we'll see if we can bring him into the conversation as well. Talk a little bit more about some of the other efforts that folks in the Coast Guard and the Chief Petty Officers are working on. So let's talk about. We'll go back to talking about the party. 5 o'clock tonight, Jimmy D's, rain or shine, and it's $10 to get in, right?
Yes.
And that includes?
That includes the food and the entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
The person that's coming in, he's the one that knows all the information because he's the one that's actually doing the organizing.
Oh, I see. Yeah, but you're stuck with me. You're here.
I know. I don't mind being stuck with you, but I mean, he's the one with all the information.
We're hammer this out. We're gonna make sure that this all gets squared away.
Yes, but everybody knows where Jimmy D's is. Again, it's all for a good cause for the Coast Guards and
Well, and I talked to Jimmy the other night, and he's really excited about playing host to some of these families that are affected.
Yes.
Obviously, many of them are regulars at Jimmy D's anyway.
Yes.
Because there's this whole Sunday kind of frisbee deal that's going on. Oh, and he's wearing a hashing shirt. How about that? Hey, buddy, how you doing? Welcome to the program. Excuse the mess. We'll get your microphone turned on in just a second. So make introductions for me, Myra.
Okay, everybody, this is Dr. Bradley, last name?
What?
Patrick.
Dr. Bradley. Really? I didn't know you were a doctor. Anyway, microphones are on, and that's very cool. So you are actually a Coast Guard petty officer.
No, I'm not.
No, you're not.
No, I'm not.
We don't have any Coast Guard.
No,
okay, all right. Well, are you a fan? Are you the president of the Coast Guard Petty Officer Fan Club?
No.
No.
Well, I mean, I was a fan club.
We should make one.
Yeah.
We should make one.
Club. Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll make one.
So let me back up here. How did this effort get started?
So I'm friends with Myra, and everybody lives on Facebook, and I was just on Facebook, and I saw this thing from that flyer, the
Coast Guard.
Coast Guard CPOA, and what is this? This Chief Petty Officers Association event, and I love Jimmy D's. I hang out there, obviously, because
we do.
So I called him like, hey, what is this? What can we do to help support them? Because I do know from having friends across the world and military things, and that the Coast Guard is the first military branch ever of U.S. history to not get paid, and they're out coming up on their, I think, second paycheck.
Yeah, it's just 33, 34 days now of this shutdown, and no end in sight. I mean, Nancy Pelosi and President Trump are still in the midst of this battle that is now affecting the State of the Union address that we're not going to hear about next week. They're going to push that off until the end of the shutdown, whenever that happens to be. In the meantime, there's people that are working that aren't getting paid. There are people that aren't working and aren't getting paid, and now they're beginning, I think, to feel a little bit that budget pinch. I think most people feel it regularly anyway, trying to stretch your dollar and trying to make ends meet between paychecks, and here they are not getting their paychecks. So it's important for us as much as we can to help out the Coast Guard for the mission that they do here and all around the Pacific, drug interdiction and the various rescues and things like that that take place throughout the region. At any rate, so tonight, Jimmy D's, 5 o'clock.
5 o'clock.
Yes.
$10 gets you in.
Yep.
Yes.
And I get a drink with that.
Yes.
Gonna make it a big, long, hairy iced tea with 17 kinds of booze in it. That's what I'm gonna get for my $10.
I don't know about Harry, but okay.
Okay, and now there's entertainment. So what are we doing for entertainment tonight?
We have CJ the DJ. We have Big Ben. We have.
Big Ben is going to be coming out to sing?
Big Ben's been coming out to sing.
Sweet.
Yep. We have. There's one more artist, singer. What was his name? Michael Feist.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know him, but if he's going to be performing, then I think he's going to be one of my favorites when we get out there. Now, it also says there's going to be live auctions and raffle items. So what exactly are we going to be auctioning off there, Doc?
Gift certificates, probably gifts, places to go eat that are offering free buffets. So things like, I want to give a shout out to Ron's Cafe. And,
that's what we were thinking about. Okay.
Yeah. So I called, Andrew's Safe and Key. I was sitting with him and Myra yesterday because being not from here, I don't know people. I'm like, okay, I got to be with somebody that knows people from the island.
Yeah.
And so I sat at his business yesterday. I'm like, all right, give me names of people that I can call. Just start shouting at things. And so between Andrew and I, Myra would give us names, and Andrew and I would be on the phone. And it was funny because we literally spent from noon to about 4:30, Andrew and I, and we made probably 36 phone calls each, and texting and calling people and pacing back and forth in the place. And so we got a hold of Ron's, and I can't remember if it was myself or Andrew which made the phone call. But then Ron texted back after he said, okay, I'm gonna give 2 trays of chicken, 2 trays of white rice, 2 trays of red rice, some pans and some lumpia. And then he texts back, he's like, hey, send me the names of every coastie, and I'm going to have a table set aside for them every day for 10 people. They can come in, show me their Coast Guard ID, and they're gonna eat the buffet for free.
Oh, you're kidding?
Yeah, and he's like, I'm gonna do this every day until this thing's over. So I'm gonna feed you guys, and because he's like, my dad's an ex-Marine, and we're like, wow, that's great. Okay, we're gonna throw out your name and tell people about you. And then he started contacting other businesses, and we don't know if they've come through yet. But he's like, I've got these 9 businesses that I know that friends and the owners, and I want them to do the same thing.
Well, send the word to him, and through that grapevine, that little network that you guys have already started, let them know that the guy that does the morning show on this radio station will give them free airtime. I don't want to make any money on this. I want for places like Ron's that are doing this. If that's going to be the deal, then I will talk about them ad nauseum all day long to make sure that the Coasties know that there's some place to go where they're not just getting a break. I mean, they're getting a big break. We're going to eat for free. At least you and 9 other people are going to be able to eat for free every day until this thing is done.
Yeah.
And if there's other businesses that are doing that, I'll just throw them in the pile. FHP is making a big deal about, hey, don't worry about it, guys. You're covered. If you are a member of our family, we're going to take care of, if you're already a take care member, don't worry about the bills. We'll square off later. You just go see the doctor if you get sick, you're going to be taken care of. There's folks asking about banks and some of the loan deferments and deferrals that they might be able to get, because a lot of people aren't going to be able to make a car payment or credit card payments and mortgage payments these days. And I know that there's a couple of banks that are out there that are willing to help you out. Just reach out to them and then call me and let me know what kind of work they're able to do for you, so I can make a big deal about all of that. Now, I was thinking about, in terms of some of those live auctions that you were thinking about doing, I was wondering if maybe you might want to live auction off a couple of actual Coasties. This is kind of it's like a win a date thing or something like that. Is it possible? Could we get away with something like that?
Actually mentioned auctioning off myself and Andrew for a date.
Yeah.
I was like, oh. We don't know. Again, we don't know all the Coasties and stuff. So
yeah, well, I'm sure there might not.
You can't say something.
Listen, I know some of the Coasties, and it's possible they're just crazy enough to do something like that. But like I said, the thing is, we'd have to put a clear end on it, because this is a date.
What does it come with?
You get to buy me dinner for a month until this is all over, until we're finished. And Kelly Rodriguez is writing, Bradley, ha ha ha, you had to get up early. Is this not the norm for you, buddy?
No, I sleep in.
Sleeping in kind of. What are you a doctor of?
I'm a nurse anesthetist, nurse practitioner, so I do anesthesia for OB.
Do you have any on you now?
No.
Now, are you being affected by this federal government shutdown at all? I mean, other than wanting to help out friends?
No, I'm not. And I'm fortunate enough to have a job where I can come and go, and so I'm calling on friends out here that I know can help me, and Kelly Rodriguez writes in, so she's with NITCAM. She works with, she's the PA with, she's a GS, but she's another friend out here. Her husband's with Air Force. So, I already reached out to them. I'm like, okay, I want help.
Yeah. So, the idea is that this spreads around like a cold in the family. And so that's what I want to be. Any organizations, any businesses that have low cost, no cost breaks that you can give, not just for the Coasties, but other members of the federal family that are struggling right now. And here's the other thing is I know a lot of these people very personally, and they won't say a word about it. They will not admit that they're having a hard time. They're not going to put their hand out and all of that. So you kind of need to reach out to them and offer some kind of help or assistance, or at least show them different places to go. Ismail writing this morning, Navy has the Adopt a Sailor program. Family takes in a sailor and treats them to dinner and other events. So if that sounds like something that you would like to do, then find a way to get through. The problem that I've got right now with all of this is there's no central coordinating authority for all of the benefits that are out there, and that to me is the craziest part. And I hope that somebody puts together, I don't know, a Facebook page that will list all of the benefits and all of the businesses that are offering some of these freebies and breaks and bonuses. 888-8255. That's 888-TALK. Anything else about this that we need to talk about?
I was trying to remember all of the people that are.
Yeah, I mean, if you've got if you've got the list of people and places and things like that off the top of your head, and some of the raffle items, people that you've personally talked to that are going to be helping out, let's give them some love here this morning.
Yeah, so Michelle's up in Minilao. I spoke with Crown Bakery last night. They're giving us dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens of cookies and donuts. That's Hansel, so thanks Hansel. Spoke with Ray at Horse and Cow. And he said, well, I want to do this. I want to do this. And I said, I want.
Are there wings? Do we get wings?
He said, Yeah, I'm like, give me wings. They're portable. They can go anywhere. And he's like, yeah. And he said, in addition, I want to do a buffet for these guys where, just open up the horse and cow and come in and, here's your beer, we'll give you drinks and here's your food. You guys don't pay and, everybody else that comes in, can help pay and support that. But I was like, and I'm friends with Ray. So, thanks to Ray, Horse and Cow, for doing that. But it seems like everybody I've talked to.
You didn't get anybody say no?
No.
Didn't anybody say, "Oh, there's not enough time to put this together"? Because this started blowing up on Facebook just the other day. Is when I got the notice of it, and I immediately shared it to the zillions of people that follow me around the world to make sure that they were aware about it. And so maybe we'll make it that first meeting, that first get together. Ismael with an interesting question: what about the sister villages supporting their coasties? I don't know what the sister village is of the Coast Guard, but we'll see if we can find out and see if there's a way that they might be able to throw some kind of little fiesta-let, if you will, and who knows, maybe even there's an opportunity now that I can twist Myra's arm here. Maybe we ought to have a 5K or something like that for see if we can raise some money for all of that. Yep. I think something like that would go over very, very well. And obviously, I know of a couple of places where you might be able to get some free publicity to talk about that as well. Doc, I appreciate you coming in and braving the traffic and the weather and having to, as Kelly says, wake up early.
Yeah. And hopefully the weather will clear and we can have some fun adult games, bocce ball and horseshoes and
Michael Knight says that the weather, as soon as we've got a little shear line that's pressing down on us right now that's bringing in some of this yuck, but it's supposed to move off hopefully in time for tonight's get together.
By tonight things should be much better.
I think that's going to be the plan. All right, listen, again, thanks for coming in, Myra. Thanks for getting everything set up, and we'll talk about this again throughout the course of the morning and the rest of the day. And if there's other activities that you guys find yourself working on behalf of the Coasties and on behalf of the federal family, please let me know about it. I'd love to be a part of getting the word and spreading it out there.
Definitely.
Awesome. Great.
Okay. And,
thank you so much.
And then we'll talk about tomorrow night while the commercial is playing. Kelly says, hash for the Coasties. Good idea. You'll just have to come up with an interesting name and an interesting theme.
Well, we usually do.
We usually do.
Yeah, I know. That's become my latest fascination here these days. It's closing in on 8 o'clock in the morning. KUSG Fox News Live is coming up in seconds. Save big. Save really big when you bundle up your insurance policies with Nanbo Insurance. Insure your home, auto, motorcycle, or business with Nanbo and enjoy great savings, up to 50%. When it comes to insuring your property, no one knows better than the company with over 50 years of service to the community. Don't compromise the things that matter to you most. Call Nanbo today at 477-9754 or visit nanbo.com for more information. Nanbo Insurance, serving you since 1968.
It's Micronesia Mall's 30th anniversary, and to celebrate, we are giving away a new Kia Soul LX, a Mazda 3i Sport, the popular Honda Civic LX, and 30 Manila Flyaways during our 30th anniversary Drive-Away Flyaway. Win 3 great cars from Triple J Auto Group, 30 Flyaways from Philippine Airlines, plus thousands of prizes from Burger King and Foot Locker when you play Micronesia Mall's 30th anniversary Drive-Away Flyaway.
You know, it's always nice when there is a need expressed in the community and somebody sees the need and tries to do something about it, and hope you are able to help them out as much as possible. Just before he left, Doc said one of the things that they're going to be needing now is like paper products and things like, because everybody's going to be walking around and trying to get food from the buffet, and it's just put it in your hand. So if you are Payless or Cost You Less or Kmart or whoever, you can get a hold of me at 888-8255 or send me a WhatsApp on the WhatsApp deal, 988-5874, and I'll see if I can get you in contact with Myra and Doc and see if you can help out for tonight and other gigs that are doubtless going to be coming up. Closing in on, as I said, 8 o'clock in the morning. In the next hour, Blake and Mike and I are going to pretend to talk about sports. Kevin will naturally tolerate that in silence. And then we're going to be talking to the guys from FHP. They have been allowed to participate in clinical cancer trials. Here on Guam, cancer patients ought to be kind of excited about the possibilities. We'll learn about that in the next hour of The Ray Gibson Show.
Day 34 won't be the last. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News.
The motion is not agreed to.
2 bills designed to end the government shutdown couldn't clear the first hurdle in the U.S. Senate. Not enough bipartisan crossovers and what still amounts to a standoff over the president's border wall. Fox's Jared Halpern, live on Capitol Hill.
Two proposals to reopen the government fell short in the Senate, both an offer from President Trump and a short-term solution from Democrats won majorities but required 60 votes to advance. After those votes, Senate Republican and Democratic leaders met. In South Carolina, Republican Lindsey Graham says he pitched another idea to President Trump.
Money for a barrier is required to get this deal done. It will not be a concrete wall.
Graham's proposal would reopen government for 3 weeks, time he believes to allow for a broader deal on border security and immigration reform. Lisa.
Well, Jared, earlier today, President Trump pledged again not to cave on the wall, but there may be some wiggle room. Fox's John Decker, live at the White House.
White House spokeswoman Sarah Sanders telling Fox News that the president would consider a so-called continuing resolution, which would reopen the federal government for the next 3 weeks, but only if it includes a large down payment on a border wall. She did not indicate how much the White House is asking for in the down payment. Sanders also saying in a statement, Leader Mitch McConnell and Senator Chuck Schumer are meeting now to see whether or not they can work out of the deadlock. Lisa?
John, for the small town of Sebring, Florida, a devastating day after.
Yesterday, our community suffered a tremendous loss at the hands of a heinous criminal.
But Police Chief Carl Hoagland says they still don't know why. 5 people, everyone in the bank at the time, and all women, were shot and killed at close range. The suspect, 21-year-old Zephan Zaver, later captured by a SWAT team, is held without bond. This is Fox News.
There's a reason every day a Guam homeowner is getting a solar system installed by Micronesia Renewable Energy. It's because MRE is the most trusted name in solar. With more solar energy solutions than any other solar company on island, homeowners have a choice to go solar for zero money down or take the path to ownership. Whichever way, it keeps our skies blue and your pockets green. And with the most experienced solar technicians and an energy production guarantee, there are no worries. Call 632-2613 for a free consultation. MRE, the smarter choice.
Here at Make-A-Wish, our Wish kids wish for all kinds of things. A lot of them involve traveling to faraway places. On Monday, February 18th from 6 until 10, we'll be holding an airlines mileage drive with me, Ray Gibson, on 93.3 The Point, to help us grant these travel wishes. So if you've got spare airline miles, you can donate them without any transfer fees. Your donation will go a long way, and so will our Wish kids.
The U.S. now considers Nicolas Maduro the former president of Venezuela.
His regime is morally bankrupt. It's economically incompetent, and it is profoundly corrupt.
Secretary of State Mike Pompeo, a day after the U.S. and multiple other countries recognized an opposition leader as interim president.
The U.S. is calling for a UN Security Council meeting tomorrow morning to talk about the situation in Venezuela. It really seems to be reaching a crisis point between the two sides. You have basically 2 presidents in the country of Venezuela. One, Maduro, elected fraudulently, according to the U.S. He's telling U.S. diplomats to get out of the country within 72 hours. That would be by Saturday morning. On the other hand, you have the man who's declared himself president, Juan Guaido. He is saying the U.S. diplomats don't need to leave. And the U.S. is saying they're going to listen to Guaido. The diplomats will not leave.
Fox's Steve Harrigan. Today, Maduro said he was ordering Venezuelan diplomats to leave the U.S. Investigators say a deadly California wildfire that killed 22 people was caused by a private electrical system, not a utility. But PG&E remains under scrutiny for other fires, planning to file for bankruptcy protection next week. Avon apologizing for the way it marketed an anti-cellulite product.
The brochure for its Smooth Moves Naked Proof Cooling Gel said dimples are cute on your face, not on your thighs. The Good Place star Jamila Jamil lashed out at the company, tweeting, "And yet everyone has dimples on their thighs. I do, you do, and the clowns at Avon UK certainly do. Stop shaming women about age, gravity, and cellulite." Avon vowing to remove the ad, tweeting, "We hear you and we apologize," adding, "We love our community of women."
Fox's Kristen Goodwin. Late word that Hawaii Congresswoman Tulsi Gabbard has officially become the latest Democrat to announce a presidential run for 2020. I'm Lisa Brady. This is Fox News.
It's Micronesia Mall's 30th anniversary, and to celebrate, we are giving away a new Kia Soul LX, a Mazda 3i Sport, the popular Honda Civic LX, and 30 Manila Flyaways during our 30th anniversary Drive-Away Flyaway. Win 3 great cars from Triple J Auto Group, 30 Flyaways from Philippine Airlines, plus thousands of prizes from Burger King and Foot Locker when you play Micronesia Mall's 30th anniversary Drive-Away Flyaway.
Here at APL, our core values give the company its heart and soul. Whether it's connecting your business with our global network through our newly enhanced service or investing our efforts into giving back to the community, APL is committed to serving you. We humbly honor the opportunity to find innovative solutions for you and your business. To learn more about our enhanced service, call 588-4651 or visit www.apl.com/Guam for more details.
Do you know someone who has difficulty following conversation in noisy places or turns up the TV a little too loud? These may be signs of a hearing loss. Ross Hearing Aids specializes in hearing evaluations, custom-fit hearing aids using the latest in wireless digital technology, and custom-fit hearing protectors. Call Ross Hearing Aids today to schedule a complimentary hearing consultation. 637-HEAR, 637-HEAR. Ross Hearing Aids, located across Shirley's in Harmon.
Half a day and good morning, Guam. News time here at The Point is 7 minutes past 8 a.m. this Friday morning. I'm Kevin Kerrigan. Here's a look now at some of the top stories from the Guam Daily Post. Guam police have arrested 2 young men in connection with 2 separate fatal traffic accidents. Highway Patrol Division officers yesterday took 22-year-old Austin Travis Mesa Rabon of Jonia into custody on allegations of vehicular homicide, vehicular negligence, speeding, and reckless driving with injuries. Rabon is charged in connection with the November 10th fatal auto pedestrian crash on Marine Corps Drive by the Payless Supermarket in Jigo. The pedestrian, Patterson Galen, was killed in that accident. Traffic investigators yesterday also arresting 25-year-old Charity Murley Alex of Manilao. He's facing allegations of vehicular homicide, vehicular negligence, imprudent driving, and driving without a driver's license. Alex was the driver involved in the January 6 fatal crash on Airport Road by Papa's Restaurant. He's alleged to have encroached into the oncoming lane and struck a vehicle being driven by Yoon Sik Park. Park died 6 days later from the injuries he suffered in that crash. Both Rabon and Alex have been booked and confined. Freshman Senator Jose Terlahi has hired a number of staffers for his senatorial office who have had brushes with the law. The senator's chief of staff, Charissa Tenorio, made headlines after she was arrested in October 2017 by the Mandanya Drug Task Force after allegedly threatening a woman who provided police with information that led to the discovery of a huge contraband smuggling and bribery case at the Department of Corrections. Felony charges of extortion and witness tampering against Tenorio were later dismissed last year. Therese Hart, meanwhile, a legislative analyst for Senator Terlahi, pleaded guilty to money laundering in 2005. She forged the signature of her father on a settlement agreement with Guam Memorial Hospital and was placed on 5 years probation. And Senator Terlahi's committee director, Daylene Wackey, was named in a federal drug forfeiture case. She shipped a Chevy Tahoe from California to Guam that was allegedly bought with drug trafficking proceeds. In April 2016, Wackey agreed to the forfeiture of $13,554 in cash, as well as several TVs and computers. Senator Terlahi telling the Guam Daily Post that he's aware of the incidents involving his staffers, but said there were no convictions. The former Jonia mayor has hired 10 staffers for his senatorial office at an annual cost to taxpayers of $276,484, more than any other senator. We'll have more news after this.
Security Title is honored to sponsor Ray Gibson on The Point. In 2019, we resolved to continue our mission of protecting and ensuring the land and homes of our beautiful island. Additionally, we resolved to maintain our vital connection to our families and our community. Protehi Itanotmo, protect your land. When it comes to your family land, remember to call the professionals at Security Title, just like you call Ray Gibson in the morning.
Picture KFC's world-famous extra crispy chicken. Now, imagine it glistening in hot honey sauce. Just think about the crispy, sweet heat. Now, it's in your sights. Reach for it. Almost there. Oops, this is a KFC radio commercial. But you can make your picture a reality by getting a Hot Honey Tenders basket.
Also available in Hot Honey Chicken Family Meals. KFC, it's finger licking good.
News time at the point is 10 minutes past 8 a.m. The Guam Contractors Association Board voicing some concerns yesterday during a meeting with Delegate Michael San Nicolas about his position on the latest developments in the ongoing H-2B crisis. San Nicolas is back on Guam from Washington, D.C., and attended the meeting in person yesterday with his district director, Jennifer Wynn. Over the past week, Governor Lou Leon Guerrero and the island business community have raised the alarm over the latest blow delivered by the Department of Homeland Security, which removed the Philippines from the list of countries eligible to take part in the H-2B visa program. The GCA board yesterday took exception to the statement issued Wednesday by the delegate in response to the Homeland Security decision last Saturday. San Nicolas on Wednesday said it's clear that the tit-for-tat of using lawsuits to address Guam's H-2B issues is only going to further complicate matters. I look forward to an opportunity to reset the dialogue, he said. GCA President James Martinez said in response that board members expressed concern about that statement. Martinez said the delegates seemed to think that the contractor's lawsuit against the Immigration Service aggravated the situation. We knew he was misinformed, said Martinez. Martinez said he's in the process of providing San Nicolas with documentation of GCA's efforts to avoid litigation and copies of all the court filings since they did file. In an emailed response to the Guam Daily Post yesterday, Delegate San Nicolas stated, if the GCA believes we are mistaken or misinformed, we invite them to continue along their current course if they feel it is wisest. 61-year-old Ernest Cuenca could get a substantial reduction in the 20-year prison sentence he's facing because of the cooperation he's providing to federal prosecutors in ongoing drug cases. Cuenca has been cooperating with the Fed since March of last year, according to a plea agreement unsealed in district court yesterday. He pleaded guilty to conspiracy to possess with intent to distribute methamphetamine, admitting that he took part in a conspiracy to bring meth from California to Guam between January and August of 2015. According to the plea agreement, one of the packages Cuenca received in July of 2015 contained 27.5 grams of meth that had a purity of 99.4%. As part of the plea deal, Cuenca agreed to make a full and complete truthful statement regarding his involvement and the involvement of all the others known to him. He also agreed to testify at trial. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post. Here's Ray and Mike now with a look at weather.
And weather radar, as a matter of fact. We got a unique hack that we're able to bring you a little bit of what is happening on the with Guam skies right now in weather. And Mike's going to explain some of that to you in a second after I give you the forecast for today. It's mostly cloudy, scattered showers. Cuddle weather? Is it we calling it that? Soup weather? Or is it cuddle as in short for I want to cuddle with you all morning long until the rains go away? Bedroom weather, I've heard it referred to. And back in the old days, we just called it baby-making weather. There you go. So we've got that for a little bit. Slight chance of thunderstorms today with better conditions later on this evening through Sunday night. East winds up to about 15 miles an hour. Highs around 87 degrees and overnight lows 77 degrees. We had a great sunset last night. We've had some red sunsets, kind of pinkish red sunsets over the last couple of nights. We'll see what happens tonight at 6:48. Now, tell everybody what they're looking at on the Facebook's live.
Well, we've got the radar, the loop there that I sent to you, and, you know, it looks like the sun coming up is starting to dry the atmosphere out just a bit. These showers are moving over the island, and they're kind of raining themselves out. The island itself can be a mechanism for convection because as the air moves across the flat water, it hits the island and gets lifted, and if there's not a lot of support, like extra moisture and things, then it'll just rain itself out, and then you'll have kind of a rain shadow, what they call on the other side of the island. And it looks like that's what we're getting right now. And so the showers that are moving through, they're just barely getting to the west side, but they're still moving across, and everybody's going to have to deal with shower activity in one form or another for about the next couple of hours. So just be ready for that. And this should dry up by tonight, though. They're saying things will start to improve probably this afternoon, and then make for a really nice weekend. Then on Sunday, another shear line that we've been looking at on satellite for the past few days. It'll move on down, and that'll bring back some scattered showers, but more importantly, that'll bring back some of those nice winds, bringing that cool air from the northeast.
Well, the bigger deal that we're having this morning is, in addition to the rain that's falling in places, it is wreaking havoc, if you will, on the roadway conditions. And I'm looking at the traffic gizmo right now, and virtually all of the intersections are in lousy shape. 8, 10, and 16. We've got the intersection of 1 and 3, 4, and 10 is looking a little bit better, but I think most of that traffic is now moved over to where the University of Guam and the Payless and the Taco Bell is going to be. So expect slow movement. Route 1, Marine Corps Drive, coming from about where the Payless is up in Datadoo, all the way down to about where we are across from DPW, getting into and out of the Agana area. Not much of a problem, but expect slower traffic on Route 4 as well. Big Navy looking all right, Navy Hospital looking all right, but most of Central Guam looking at the traffic. If I squint my eyes a little bit, it's throbbing red because of all of the slower moving traffic that we've got. 8:16, that's news and weather. A little bit of traffic together right here on The Point.
Docomo Pacific is making the Better Together bundle even better. 2 great services plus more. Get unlimited local calls, SMS, and 20 gigs of data, plus unlimited home internet for $109 a month. Sign up today and get free installation and choose between a free Galaxy S8, S8 Plus, or $100 off select devices. Mobile plus online from Docomo Pacific. Better together. Some conditions apply. See store for details.
The Ray Gibson Show Friday version brought to you by my friends over at King's. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, you know, that's what you do. Get out of traffic this morning. Get breakfast over at King's. Mooning and Harmon, American President Lines of Shipping the Future. Guam Regional Medical City, the first choice for your specialty care needs. And, of course, the guys at Micronesia Renewable Energy. We'll hear from them next week. Got some new stuff they wanted to talk about on the radio, so expect them. Never been a better time to go solar.
Cheers to 80 years. It's our 80th anniversary and the gifts are on us. 80 gift certificates, 8 shopping sprees, 8 staycations, and 1 round-trip flyaway for 2 to Manila. So how do you enter? Calvo's Insurance personal home and auto customers are automatically entered. Non-Calvo's customers may enter by receiving a qualified quote. It's our way of saying thank you for trusting us for the past 80 years. For more details, visit calvos.com/giveaway or call 472-6816. Calvo's Insurance, serving Guam for 80 years.
Go eat at Subway, because we had the guy in here from the Subway place yesterday talking about all kinds of cool things that they're doing. They've got a garlic bread thing at. Have you had that already? The yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's good.
Now, did you have it by itself, or did you have it in a sandwich?
Meatball sand.
Meatball sandwich and a garlic bread. Now, I'm told that it's the first time that they have ever been able to prepare bread that you can buy kind of on its own. Because you can go, if you don't want to have it in a meatball, you can just go there and say, I just want the bread.
Yeah, just get it, and you can dip it in your own marinara sauce if you want at home, or dip it on some whatever you want, chili, whatever you got.
You know what is that stuff? Crown Bakery has it. I forget what it is. It's like they ground up some garlic and olives. And you spread
tapenade.
Yes, that word. That's the stuff they have. That's bomb.
Yeah,
whatever they at Crown Bakery, that is bomb. So I'm supposed to talk
about
pine
nuts, some oil.
I'm supposed to talk about the Chipotle cheesesteak sandwich over at Subway. I'm sorry, I got distracted by the other thing. Go. It's a limited time. The guy was saying it's only going to be there for a limited time. So go and score yourself some of that bread, and then go to Crown and get you. What did you say? Say it again.
Tapenade.
Tapenade. Okay.
Get
some tapenade from the place. 8:18. Be right back.
Bringing you closer to the action. Any speaker, anytime. Watch and listen live on thepoint.gu.
I have a good time in this job. I really, really do. I don't know if that comes across on the radio or the Facebook or the YouTube or whatever. But I really, really love doing this job. If for no other reason, I get to have somebody come into the studio and just look at me and say,
Tapenade. Tapenade.
Love that.
Yeah.
Mark Colby in the voice of the GML. Say Tapenade.
Tapenade.
Yes, yes. Kevin Kerrigan from the Guam Daily Post. Your turn.
Tapenade.
Michael Knight from the other room.
Tapenade?
That's
I
it.
said it in the form of a question,
Did
just
you?
in case I was on Jeopardy.
Right. No, it's,
Been watching a lot of
I
that on
appreciate you
Netflix.
just trying to be different. That's never lose that. Never lose that character, that quality of. It's 8:19 in the morning, and yeah, Mark Colby, the voice of Guam Major League, and now the voice of the under-18 tournaments that are taking place. And everybody online is asking the question: is there going to be some under-18 baseball today? What with all of this weather? What do you think?
Well, I'm hoping we can pick up a big umbrella and put it over the stadium to clear it out.
Yeah, might be a little bit late to start thinking about doing that now because it's been coming down hard since last night.
Yeah, I know. I got up this morning and it was raining and it's still raining up here in Manila. I'm going to be heading out pretty soon to head down to the stadium. As of 8, I have not gotten any word as to what's going to happen. I do know that it doesn't take much for the field to dry itself up. So cross your fingers that the skies clear up at least to give us time to let the field dry up on its own. And we may not start right at 11. Hopefully, we can get the first game today started by 12 or before.
Well, I'm looking forward to hearing about today's games. I mean, you've got a built-in rivalry between the New Zealand team and the Australians. The whole Aussie Kiwi thing. That's always fun. It's kind of like the two Texans here that I've got in the studio with their different teams. Yeah, it's got that kind of friendly rivalry going on.
That's true. Well, yeah, you're right. With today's games, we do have a couple of rivalries. 11 a.m. is going to be Australia and New Zealand. And then Australia will take on Palau at 3 p.m. And then, of course, tonight, Guam will take on American Samoa, who is the only undefeated team left in this tournament.
Wow. Isn't that something? And you said we've got Australia playing twice today?
Yes, every day there's been a double, a team playing a doubleheader.
Uh-huh.
So, the first day was American Samoa had their doubleheader on the first set.
Okay.
And, of course, because Guam played the night before they started the tournament, so, in theory, they have the night times. And then, of course, that's home field advantage, I guess. But Palau, because of have to make up the makeup, technically they had a doubleheader 2 days ago. And then, of course, yesterday New Zealand had their doubleheader, and today will be Australia's doubleheader.
Well, and a massive schedule this weekend as well.
Yes, the depending on what happens after today, the playoffs and the championship will be in the forecast for the weekend.
All right, now let me just bring Michael Knight into the conversation just real quick. Even though we did weather just a few minutes ago, what are the chances that things are going to dry out in time for a little bit of a late start on that first game?
I think atmospherically it's looking good that most of the rain will probably stop by 10 or 11 o'clock. I can't promise it, though, because, well, it's Guam.
Because it's weather.
Yeah, it's tropics, but it's looking like it may wind up by then. Whether the field's actually able to dry off in time, that's another issue altogether.
Yeah, it's too bad we don't have an indoor. That would save us a whole lot of trouble around here. 8:23 in the morning. Listen, I appreciate the vigil that you're keeping over the weather this morning, and we'll watch out on the media WhatsApp and see what's happening with the games. We'll be happy to pass that along to you on the stations of choice broadcasting.
Thank you, sir. I will be posting live, and I'll let everybody know the status of the games as soon as I know.
You the man. 8:23 in the morning. 888-255-888-TALK. Hey, you know what? It's time for Sports with Blake. What do you want to talk about? It's so weird here because what do you call it? It's just there's not a whole lot by way of football going on. Although there is the what do you call it game, right? The Pro Bowl. Ah.
Right?
Yeah, you sound excited about that.
I don't. It is this weekend, right?
Yeah, right. Boring. It's just another bowl game.
Florida? Florida? Is that where it's going down? It's not Hawaii anymore either, so I don't really, it's not even close. It's not even regionally. what am I saying?
Just
familiar.
just
familiar.
Yeah.
Let's see here. What do I have though? I do have. Apparently, Zach Banner won't be able to make it.
I saw that.
Yeah, that's what we have for local sports. In a video sent by his manager and publicist, a lady named Sarah Bergstrom, Banner said that the Steelers asked him to remain in Pittsburgh to focus on his training. Which nothing against Zach Banner, but I don't know if that's to focus on his training or just because they want to keep everybody close because they've had some locker room drama to end out the season, which is
really?
Oh yeah. I mean, with the they're probably about to lose their top receiver in Antonio Brown because he's made it known that he's unhappy. I don't know if it's with ownership, with coaching, with both, with Big Ben. Maybe it's everything. But either way, they had some issues. They didn't make the playoffs either, which is pretty unheard of in Steeler Nation. So, but
so
either way.
everybody, we're practicing all summer is what they're saying.
Right.
You want to be here in the fall. You want to be here for the start of the new season. Then we're going to knuckle down and get a whole lot of practice. We're gonna drills this weekend.
Yeah. He normally spends the off season on the West Coast, during which time he also schedules his trip to Guam, where he has the last couple of years to do football clinics. One of which I've actually hosted. Very nice guy, Zach Banner, and does a lot of good. And it is unfortunate that he won't be able to come out here. He does a lot for the game of football here locally, and it does a lot for the local youth to get to meet him and talk to him.
Somebody that's actually made it, kind of look up to the guy, and he's a nice guy.
Yeah,
and
he's been here. He's walked our halls.
We've done the interviews and things like that with him. And frankly, he's one of those guys where if he wasn't in football, frankly, he could do this job.
Yeah, I think he wants to.
At some point,
if it ever doesn't work out, I think he said that because this is what he did. I believe he actually, fun fact about him, I believe he actually interned on a big ESPN radio show, Colin Cowherd. No, not Fox Sports, I think is Colin Cowherd, not ESPN. He left ESPN to go to Fox Sports, but he was an intern on the Herd with Colin Cowherd, which is, kind of like a, you know what I mean? It's one of the, in the sports talk radio world, it's one of the big heavy hitting names.
Well,
top three.
You know what? And I don't mean to drop names, but anybody that knows me knows that I will at the drop of a hat. But I am in conversation right now with the guys at ESPN Radio in Los Angeles, California, and they have given me a secret set of numbers and a code here that will allow me to reach into their system and begin testing the feed from KSPN in Los Angeles, so that we can bring you the Rams version, the Rams radio coverage of the Super Bowl.
So you, instead of the president, you kind of have the Super Bowl launch codes.
I have the
local
Super Bowl launch codes, and so there's probably going to be one of the things that I do today is to reconfigure some devices that we've got in the back so that they will be able to receive, and we can begin testing this audio from KSPN and their devices, their gizmos. So we will, after the testing, we should be able to bring you audio from the Super Bowl. This will not be standard network coverage of the Super Bowl. Instead, we will be hearing it exactly the way LA Rams fans will be hearing it on the air there. So it's going to be very cool. All of their local voices, all of their local commercials, all of the other stuff that
all their local promos and jingles.
We might. It depends on how much they're going to be sending into that feed. I told them we'd just take the entire coverage. We'll cover up as many of their commercials as we can. But I think for the listeners, I think it's kind of fun to be able to hear what the radio sounds like in LA. Not like they're streaming or anything like that. That you can do it already. 8:27 in the morning. 888-825-5888-TALK. And Sean Gumatauta and I were talking, and one of his kids has started into like a new soccer program.
Where?
I didn't dig.
Is it GFA or is it outside of GFA? Because there's either GFA or I think there's one or two organizations that operate outside of GFA.
Don't quiz me, man. I can't take the pressure.
I know Zest is one of them, or they were one of them. I don't know if they're still together.
I don't know. I don't know. That's one of those. It's Tapenade.
I don't know if this is still going on. To switch gears and kind of go back to what we were talking about yesterday, the Guam Volleyball Federation is going to be hosting tryout for men and women's national beach volleyball teams.
Right.
This is all gearing up to.
Is there an age limit?
Well, I don't. It doesn't say here, but I will say it's all gearing up for the Pacific Games in Samoa in July. But it says here tryouts will be held over this weekend, but tonight 5 to 8 p.m. January 25th. I don't know if that's going to be going on. You can email GuamVolleyballUSA@gmail or GuamVolleyball.org for more updates. Only because I'm just a weather, I'm just kind of trying to make a weather amends. I don't know if you can play beach volleyball or try out for beach volleyball national teams in the wind and the rain. But either way, 5 to 8 p.m. tonight, 11 to 3 tomorrow and Sunday, and then 4 to 6 on Monday. So tryouts are going to be held at Beach Bar at Gun Beach this weekend. Again, bring your own towel, and if any changes, GuamVolleyball.org, I guess you can check out there and see if they're going to continue tonight with the weather and all that.
And wear groovy volleyball shorts.
Yeah, there you go. But
it has to be.
And again, I don't see an age limit. I got to think adult only because it is for the men and women's national team, not the junior national team or whatever. So
A games, guys.
Yeah.
And one thing I'm going to leave everybody with, because I've got bigger names coming in after you here, is Gina Call has asked me to pass this along to our listeners. There is going to be a pie percentage night at Pie-lanthropy. Now that's where is it? Pieology. Right? You're familiar with Pie? They got a couple of them. There's one up in Dedido now.
Is it really?
Yeah, it says here, Tamuning and Dedido. Now this is a deal that they're doing for the Price Elementary School Lanceros second grade, and the class there has got a Pieology night. So what happens is you go and tell them that you are there to support the Lanceros from Price Elementary, and they will take 20% off the purchase and give it to the school.
Yeah.
Right. So 20% of the purchase will benefit the students at Price Elementary. This will take place January 30th. So make plans. You're going to eat at Pieology anyway. Make plans to hit one of those places up and say you're there for the kids.
I think they have gluten-free and cauliflower crust, if I'm not mistaken.
I wouldn't know because I've never gotten into any of that. If I'm going to break down and eat pizza, I'm going to break down and eat gluten-filled white bread.
Right.
Gluten intolerance is
pizza.
a myth.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah.
I'm with you on that. But if for no other reason, there are people that believe that if you can eat a gluten-free pizza and not gain weight. Okay. So while we're piling myths on top of myths, that we can go with that one.
But I do like the model. I love Pieology because you can throw you can build your own pizza right there in front of you. You can throw whatever you want. You can throw ricotta on it. You can throw jalapenos. Sardines. You can throw extra cheese, no cheese, whatever. It's all right there.
You got me thinking. Maybe I've been craving pizza lately. That might be what I do for lunch. It's 8:31 in the morning. That's all the time I got for sports. Blake Watson is going to go finish the morning show over on Star 101. Kevin Kerrigan has got headlines lined up for us next.
Family Finance has been serving the people of Guam since 1959, and they'll continue to be there for you in the years to come. Whether you're looking to get a personal loan for that summer vacation or paying off those long overdue bills, Family Finance has got you covered. Apply for a personal loan from $1,000 up to $3,500 by calling Family Finance in Hagåtña at 475-4545, Upper Tuon 647-5626, or in Dedido 633-4473. Family Finance has been serving the people of Guam since 1959.
That is some groovy music playing on in the background. I'd let that run, but we got stuff to take care of today. In the next half hour or so, we'll be talking about clinical trials here on Guam. Cancer clinical trials that are going to be taking place through the FHP Health Center. I got doctors and researchers that are going to be in the studio here in just a few minutes to explain that to me and see if there's if that might end up being something that could be beneficial for you or somebody in your family that might be battling a certain kind of cancer. That's all ahead on the program. But right now, headlines from the Guam Daily Post. This is Kevin Kerrigan.
Half a day and good morning, Guam. And the headlines from the Guam Daily Post this morning. Legislative Vice Speaker Talina Nelson has called an informational briefing for next Wednesday over concerns she has about construction cost overruns at the Guam International Airport and the ongoing legal battle between DFS and the airport over the award of the concession contract to Lotte Duty Free. Senator Nelson's committee has legislative oversight over the airport authority, and former senator and current airport director Tom Atta has been called on to answer some questions about those concerns. In a release to the media yesterday, Senator Nelson said she'll be looking into the arrivals corridor construction delay, which is about $40 million over the original budget. She also wants information on the ongoing lawsuits involving the award of the concession contract to Lotte Duty Free Guam, which she said was triggered by an unfair selection process, and the recent court ruling in favor of DFS Guam that now requires the airport to pay DFS $2.9 million, a decision the airport says it plans on appealing. A plea deal between the federal government and 50-year-old Connie C. Tatautau was unsealed in district court yesterday. Tatautau admitted to participating in a conspiracy to bring methamphetamine from California to Guam between August 2014 and August 2015. During that time, according to the plea agreement, Tatautau and an unidentified co-conspirator received several packages of meth from California, and Tatautau knew the packages contained meth, according to that plea agreement. The DEA tested the substance inside one of the packages sent by the stateside conspirator and found that it was 99.4% pure methamphetamine. Tatautau facing a maximum sentence of 20 years in prison. Sentencing is scheduled for May 30th. Government of Guam has received another extension to comply with the federal requirements for Real ID-compliant driver's licenses. The new compliance date is April 10th. The federal government shutdown is part of the reason for the extension. Yesterday, the Navy's Public Affairs Office issued an advisory notifying all visitors and service providers that they must show a Real ID-compliant ID effective February 4th in order to be admitted to Naval Base Guam. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post.
It's 8:35 in the morning, and we'll call that iConnect time. Go to an iConnect and find out about the great plans and packages they've got for you in 2019. Things like push-to-talk and mobile and internet plans. Get a hold of iConnect at 888-8888.
Are you waiting too long for a home loan decision? Are you looking for a bank that understands your needs and can close your loan quickly at today's super low rates? Then come no further than Bank Pacific. Our home loan specialists are friends and neighbors from your community, and our decisions are made right here in Hagåtña. Bank Pacific, where we're open to closing your loan in a hurry.
Bank Pacific, where others put branches, we place roots.
Equal housing lender, credit conditions apply. Viva Bank Pacific.
You know, normally at 8:36 in the morning when I take a look at the traffic gizmo, I'm happy to report that traffic is all clear at all the major intersections and just a few places where things might slow you down. That is not the case today. The intersection 1 and 3 is mired, according to the traffic gizmo here. 8, 10, and 16 isn't all that pretty either around the Happy Mart intersection. And then once you make it through there, you still got to wait up that line of people that tries to get into the One Good Gate into Tidjin. Traffic in the other direction on Route 8 isn't all that much better either. But once you pass those spots, it should be all right. Traffic on Route 4 heading into town and out of town seems to be moving. It looks like there's some places where traffic is building, but it doesn't look like anything is going to be slowing you down too much as you're making your way through there. Traffic in some of the other areas, just watch out for some additional and slower cars because of the weather. It's 8:37 right now. Traffic on the point.
Hi, welcome to this Subway ad for our all-new Ultimate Cheesy Garlic Bread. How would you like it?
I'll take a skeptical grandma.
Set in her ways?
A smidge.
Grandma, try this Ultimate Meatball Marinara made with Ultimate Cheesy Garlic Bread. Melted mozzarella, Parmesan, garlic butter spread. It's just like yours.
Like mine? My grandmother's recipe?
Try it.
You know, my grandmother's cheesy garlic bread was never all that.
Subway, make it what you want. Limited time only at participating restaurants.
Well, this is going to be an exciting part of the program, and we'll arrange it now and see if I can get all of the right people in all of the right cameras. And I didn't have a chance to brief everybody, but the red light means that your microphone is on, and don't be afraid of getting close to it. Okay? So I mean, I know how it is. Sometimes you go, okay, but I think this is going to be easy for you because it's all stuff that you guys already know about. And so with me in the studio, let me just make sure that I've got all of that lined up. I want to start with Dr. Samir Ambrale. Did I say that? Did I do it justice?
You did.
I did. Okay. Well, and we'll talk. We'll get a little bit more about your background. And then there's another lady over here, and I know this one. This is Dr. Rachel Leon Guerrero. It's good to see you.
Thank you, Ray. Good
How's your
to be here.
husband? What's he up to?
Oh, he's enjoying life.
No,
And
that
he
cannot
told
be.
me. He told me to say hi.
Did he? Okay, I'm glad to hear that. I was thinking, I think about Glenn every
He's
time I go
relaxed.
through 8,
He's
10, and
relaxed,
16.
yeah.
Is nothing. Where's he going to end up?
He's at Black Construction.
Really?
Mhm.
Oh, what a great fit.
He's already been there 2 weeks.
What a great thing. There's some
Yeah.
awesome people that he
Oh,
works
yeah.
with out
He-
there.
he loves those guys.
Yeah, and yeah, he's going to be perfect there. Tell him I said congratulations. Glenn, if you're listening, congratulations. This video on demand here, so that'll work out. And the boss of the shop over at FHP is Jeff Larson.
Hi, Ray.
How
Good
you
morning.
doing?
How's the day?
Good morning. Is this the first time you've been in my studios?
This is.
What do you think? You like it?
I like it a lot.
I drew my inspiration from your health center.
Oh, well.
The layout, all of that stuff, but it's the technology because it's one of my favorite things. If you've got to go to the doctors, it's nice to go to the doctors where they've got technology that will follow you around. And one of my favorite versions of it is in the dental place where the guy shoots your teeth and you get the X-ray. But when I was a kid, that was another 20-minute wait while the plates were developed and before you finally got a chance to see the dentist. But now they take you from there. You sit in that chair. They shoot your teeth. You go to another chair, and pretty soon the doctor's got it. And there's a monitor in the room where he can call up your X-rays and see what's going on.
Absolutely.
I love that tech.
Yep.
And so you've got that 64-slice toaster in the back office as well?
Well, we have
I
MRI.
forget what kind of the MRI you've got
Yeah,
there.
it's a 3 Tesla MRI.
Mhm.
So that's the most powerful magnet on Guam and very busy lately.
Mhm.
Great modality. We've got an excellent radiologist and Dr. Graves there on site at FHP. So we're very happy about our modality options at FHP.
I've noticed that I've been doing a lot more by way of outreach with FHP recently. I mean, you've got these clinics that are coming up, and not just clinics, but I mean a lot of preventative stuff,
Yes.
yogas and working out and Zumbas and things like that.
Yep. You were just speaking with Donna Bell and
Mhm.
Dr. Consoli a few weeks back, I think, or maybe even
Just
10
a
days
week and
or
a half
less.
ago, yeah.
And cervical cancer screening,
Mm.
breast cancer screening, all part of what we're focused on for starting 2019.
And a couple of months from now, we'll have different doctors in with different body parts that need to be inspected for colorectal cancer, which is something that guys in our age group have to worry about these days. And now we move into the cancer conversation, and for the first time, we're thrilled to announce that Guam will be a part, through FHP's Health Center, of these clinical trials. That's never happened before, has it, Doc?
As far as we know, no, this is going to be the first time Guam will be seeing clinical trials available for patients.
So, what kind of cancers? Do we have any specific ideas on what kind of different cancers will be investigated or will be part of these trials yet?
So we are a small community. We don't have as many numbers of cancer patients as the big states. So we will definitely focus on the more common cancers:
Mhm.
breast, colon, prostate, and lung. And the trials will be different types of trials. Some will be treatment trials. They'll be testing out a new medication or treatment.
Mhm.
It will also be related to prevention of certain cancers or preventing cancers from coming back after somebody has had initial treatment.
Yeah.
It could be supportive care, meaning trying out medicines that can take care of side effects on certain chemotherapy treatments. And, there is a big basket of NCI.
This is not just one thing.
This is not one thing. This opens up the residents of Guam to whatever trials that are sponsored by the National Cancer Institute. And National Cancer Institute is the major sponsor of clinical trials in the U.S. and globally. And they do it through multiple, what we call research bases.
Mhm.
And we are affiliating through the University of Hawaii Cancer Center, which is the NCI designated cancer centers, and there are very few in the United States.
This is really, really exciting stuff. And having had cancer in my house, in my life, I lost my mother-in-law to cancer. I lost my father recently to a radical and very opportunistic and very fast-moving small cell carcinoma. Took him in 19 days from diagnosis to death. So when you start talking about cancers, you start thinking about what are the traditional modes of treatment for cancer, but every once in a while you say, is there something new out there that I might be able to, some new drug I can take, some new therapy that I can take that might help save my life? And if you're doing it, if you're asking that question from Guam, the answer is, yeah, there are, but you can't get it here. You can only get it, we can only provide that treatment for you in California or Hawaii or someplace like that. That's changed now.
Absolutely. So that's going to be changing in the next this year. We'll have we'll start with a few trials and make sure we can do them well before we can we have to walk before we run. So in the next few years, I think it's going to be an exciting time for treatments on Guam, and there'll be more opportunities for patients to get treatment locally.
Have you identified any patients yet that might be perfect, lined up for some of these clinical trials?
No. The thing is, because these trials often start up at these large centers, like University of Hawaii will open a trial, and then it'll fill up in a few months. So the situation is what I call fluid. There are new trials coming in.
Yeah.
Old trials are getting closed or not accruing. So every month there is a different list of clinical trials that are available. So when we have this ongoing, we'll have the whole resource put together. We'll start identifying patients we can help.
So, Rachel, this is exciting from a research standpoint as well, isn't it? Explain that to the listeners. Why is this opportunity here and to do this here specifically on Guam so great?
Well, so the University of Guam and the University of Hawaii Cancer Center, they've had a partnership since 2003, and it's funded by the National Cancer Institute. We've done some research, a lot of behavioral research, looking at some of the risk factors for different types of cancers. And our partners there have always said, "Oh yeah, we want to do clinical trials, clinical drug trials." But obviously, UOG, we don't have a medical school, we don't have physicians, and so we just don't have the capacity to do it. And so to have Dr. Umbrali, and he's only been on Guam a couple of years, 2 years.
Just over 2 years.
Yeah,
oh, you're stuck now.
Yeah. So to have
We
him,
agree with
and
that.
as soon as he came on island, he came to UOG. He said, "Hey, I'm really interested in," and so to have him here on island, I think is a real win-win it's a win for us, because he's the first person that's really said, "I want to do cancer clinical trials." And it's one thing to say it, but it's another thing to pursue it and actually make it happen.
He locked up the deal. That's nice.
And so a lot of credit goes to him, because he really pursued it, and with FHP.
So when I think about the population that we have here, and all kinds of people from all kinds of different places, we are kind of a melting pot. Does the addition of the different ethnic backgrounds and racial profiles that we have on Guam, how does that increase the value of the clinical trials being done from Guam?
Well, it's a very important topic for the NCI, because the NCI, or the National Cancer Institute, wants to include minority or underrepresented people into
That's
the
us.
trials, right? Because when you do this in the mainland, the majority of the cancer patients that enroll are Caucasians or white people, right? Across, if you see the treatment across the United States, if you have 100 people getting treatment, only 3 or 5% or 3 or 5 people out of the 100 are actually getting treatment on clinical trials. The idea or the target for the NCI is to bring it up to 10% or 15%. That's for the adults.
Yeah.
If you compare it to the children's treatments, most of children who get cancer, unfortunately, are treated on clinical trials, because there is a robust clinical trial network for children. So if I had to send somebody, I sent a couple of patients that I had to see in the hospital, and both of them were treated on clinical trials when they got to Hawaii, and one in San Antonio.
What an interesting field this is. They open it up more for kids, for children with cancer.
It's not. It's open for everybody. Just that the
But
children are
they
getting
get more of the kids involved in the programs.
Because we need that. There is a stronger need for patients, children, to be treated with these trials, and they have excellent results because they have good cure rates for certain leukemias.
Yeah, well, I mean, we're talking about the more prevalent cancers that we get here on Guam. You've got breast cancer among them. And maybe this is something that you know from the research and the university side. Are there particular kinds of breast cancers that are more prevalent here on Guam than anywhere else?
No.
Well, mostly
I know that there's a lot
are
of different varieties there.
There are different varieties, but most common ones are the same as common ones in the mainland, what we call hormone receptor positive ones. And I should stress that most breast cancer that we can detect early through mammography, a lot of breast cancers can be cured. You get them early, you get them operated on. If you need treatments, you do them early on within a time frame, and a lot of women will be cured. So that's one thing that we have to understand, that early detection can save your life, and or at least it can increase your lifespan tremendously.
Well, this conversation we had about cervical cancer just a couple of weeks ago was a real eye opener for me, and the note that we'll find this thing early and we can go in with a hot wire and pull it out, and then the cancer is gone. You are cured. And I thought, well, thank God we found an easy version of cancer, but it's not one of those things that you want to let and sit fester over the course of a couple of years, because it will go terminal on you pretty quick. Very interesting process that we're talking about, and as we have not yet identified any patients yet that could be put into these programs, there will come a time where there is some kind of a process where somebody is an oncologist, somebody comes to you and says, all right, what have I got, doc? And you say, well, you've got this kind of cancer, and it's possible that you might be a candidate for one of these clinical trials. So how does that process work after that?
So what happens is, once we are up and ready to go start these trials, what we do is we look at the University of Hawaii's portfolio or whatever trials they have open, and we say, okay, these are the common cancers we see on Guam. What are the similar trials you have? Yeah. And then I will look at it and say, okay, we have there is a breast cancer trial open, or there is a lung cancer trial open, and I think we can put patients on it. So we will open that trial, and what we do after we open it, we do what is called a screening of patients. So we actively look at our patients' charts and try to identify which patient is going to be eligible to go on these, or if there is a trial that we know a patient has this and wants to get on the research study, we can actually open a trial pretty fast, which is not open here.
What would disqualify somebody from being accepted in a clinical trial?
There is a lot of things there is a set of inclusion criteria that comes with every trial. There is a set of exclusion criteria. So every trial is different, but depends on a lot of things, because the trials are done with a lot of monitoring and have to be done within the purview of the what you call the protocol.
Oh, sure.
So we have to follow these guidelines.
Now, with the ones where specific drugs are being tested out, sometimes they'll say, okay, you get the real drug, you get the placebo. Right. Because we want to be able to see the efficacy of the drug that we're being tested, and how much of this is a placebo effect and things like that. They still have programs like that, or will Guam be participating in trials similar to that?
Yes, we will. So that's an important way to do clinical trials, understanding if it's new drug is working as compared to a placebo, or something that is already been used. Right? We have ABC works on clinical trial. Let's put ABC plus D, or let's do AB and X. So that's the different kinds of treatments that we're planning to.
Because you see, I'm sorry, I'm one of those guys. I get all my medical knowledge from television, and every once in a while they'll do a Grey's Anatomy episode, and so really needs this clinical trial. We're going to take a chance on it. But when she was put into the program, she got the placebo, and so somebody kind of has to look the other way and make sure that she gets the actual drug in order to save the star.
Well, we need to hang out more.
Yeah, a little bit more of those kinds of things. Again, a very, very exciting time, and just the ability to do the research and to actually see how people from around here, different ethnic backgrounds, racial backgrounds, are going to react to that, and other kinds of cancers. I know the Cancer Center at the University of Guam has been focused heavily on beetle net, mouth oral cancer, and the effect that years and years of beetle net chewing have on people. Have you come up with any conclusions on that?
Well, right now we have a couple of things going on, and
have you broken it down? Let me just have you broken it down, because there's a bunch of different ways that we chew beetle nut around here, right? There's the way the Micronesians do it with the tobacco and the lime and the leaf, and they put the whole thing in their mouth, and and there's this whole red spit thing that happens. And then I'm a different one. I'm a hard beetle nut chewer. I chew Ugam brand beetle nut. In fact, I've got some in my office because I wasn't going to have it in here while you were here, because you would confiscate it. Right? Beetle nuts. I'm thinking that it's not here. My office is not here. It's not in this building at all. Is there a distinction between oral cancers that you get from the Micronesian version or the hard beetle nut version?
They're still looking at that, and Dr. Yvette Paulino, she's done several research projects, but I think what they're starting to see is that there definitely is difference in the what biochemicals are in the different types of nut and what happens when you mix it with lime or you mix it with the betel leaf, or you add alcohol. So we have several projects. They're looking at trying to identify biomarkers. They're trying to break down some of the components. We have one researcher at the University of Hawaii Cancer Center who he has identified something, but he won't say what it is because he's trying to get it published, and he thinks it's pretty. He says that there's a potential interesting possible combination if you mix it with cannabidiols. Yeah. So that it might, but that's preliminary. So he's looking into that. He's really interested in that. So there's some interesting things happening.
I don't know. I want to hear the rest of that story when it finally gets published. Yeah, when it finally gets published.
Yeah.
Well, because that's turning into a big deal around here. We've done virtually hours in the last couple of weeks talking about cannabinoid oils, the CBDs that are out there, and some of the people that are making claims about them. My partner over here, he's having some of the best sleep of his life as a result of popping a couple of those the CBD pills. I was given that oil yesterday, and I had some with cranberry juice, but I'm not sure if I felt anything. I laid down, took a nap, and I woke up like I wake up all the time after a nap. I was feeling clean and refreshed and all of that. So I don't know whether I got the benefit out of this. So
you got the placebo.
I must have gotten the placebo. So the conversation about clinical cancer trials and now the availability of these trials for cancer patients here on Guam. And I'm obviously excited about this. It's all going to be going through the FHP Health Center. Jeff, do I have to be an FHP patient to be considered a possibility, a potential client for the trials?
Not necessarily, although I can tell you this.
We'd like everybody to be FHP patients,
we
right?
would. We absolutely would. We'd invite everybody down to the FHP Health Center. We're very proud of our operations there. But what I can tell you is if you're a Take Care member and you're a member of the federal government OPM plan, the Federal Employee Health Benefit Program, the Government of Guam plan, or the Judiciary plan, clinical trials are covered for those plans. So that's one of the other elements of this that's important is you have to have some form of insurance in order to participate in the clinical trials.
Didn't even think of that.
Yeah. So Medicare, if you have Medicare, Medicare requires coverage for it. The plans that I just mentioned cover clinical trials. There may be other plans out there with other carriers. I just don't know their particulars. So what I would say is check your plan design or call your payer or your insurance company and ask them about clinical trial coverage.
Interesting. All right. As I said, it's a very, very deep field. We're not going to be able to get to everything in the time that we've got. There are people listening right now that maybe have got cancer touching their lives or they're concerned about cancer. I mean, now that we've had it in the house, I worry that maybe I'm a candidate for something like that down the road. Depending on some of the crazy things that I do, like never ever use sunblock. Oh no! See, I'm just for shame, Gibson, for shame. The no sunblock thing. Do we have a lot of skin cancer around here? So I always ask about that. So it's one of those things, there's the risk reward. So if I don't, when I go out for the grill marks, if I don't use sunblock on me, I risk the skin cancer. But are there a lot of skin cancer patients on Guam?
I don't know. I know that I have one of my really good friends
like
at work.
oral.
He just is getting treatment. He's got a big red thing on his.
Yeah,
his
if
head,
you look at your skin and it's white, then you are at risk of getting it. So please,
absolutely,
just a little bit of this stuff. What crazy conversation that we've managed to get into. So now, and the idea that you need to have some kind of insurance to back you up on these clinical trials. In my head, I thought it was all benign. I thought it was like there's this big corporation out there that wants to try out their new drugs. So if you jump into my clinical trial, we'll do this therapy. You can take the pills for free. That's not the case.
That is not the case because apart from the medications itself, there is the cost of doing the blood work. Some of them involve scans like CT scans, X-rays. So that cost has to be borne by somebody, and usually it's the insurance will bear it. Now the ACA or the Obamacare had mandated that all the commercial insurance plans should have clinical trials included, which are sponsored by the NCA, and that is what we're working on. So we'll be in this few months, we'll be working with the insurers to make sure they can include all their members have access to clinical trials.
Is there, besides seeing a doctor and confirming that there is cancer, at which point, what's the pathway now for a patient to become enrolled in some of these clinical trials? Is that all marked down? I mean, do you talk to somebody over at the Cancer Care, and when they're done talking about what the traditional treatments are, oh, by the way, Dr. Umbrales has a trial that you might be interested in. Is there a specific pathway for a patient?
The pathway is to seek referral to our office, and it's not only for when you've exhausted any treatment. It could be a new treatment for early breast cancer, like you've had a woman has breast cancer, has a surgery, and then may need chemotherapy, and it might be something that we are looking at, a new medicine that can reduce the side effects of nausea or vomiting. So yeah, you just ask your primary doctor to come to our clinic
and get a referral to go and see you.
Talk.
Okay, all right. Did you have anything else that you wanted to add in this? No?
No, we're just excited. We're
what I want to stress is, research cures cancer. So this is part of the cancer research that we are trying to develop on Guam with the University of Guam Research Center. And we want to support this as much as we can, because this is our one-time, opportunity to keep this open and successful.
If for no other reason, to be able to help people from this area, this kind of ethnic background, to see if there are things that might be peculiar with the cancers that they get and the treatments that might become available, and just say, hey, listen, you're a brown guy. We know for a fact that this treatment works better because we've done the studies on Guam, where your family's from. We're closing in at 9 o'clock in the morning. Jeff, thanks for coming by. Docs, I appreciate you swinging by. It's time now for Fox News Live on KUSG Hagutnya.
I'm signaling a possible compromise that could end the government shutdown.
The president indicating that he wants a down payment for a southern border wall in any continuing resolution that would reopen the federal government for the next 3 weeks. And if he doesn't get it,
well, I wouldn't be happy with it. I wouldn't be happy. But we have a lot of alternatives.
The president did not say how much money would be needed for a down payment. In the meantime, no new talks are scheduled between the president and congressional leaders to end the partial government shutdown.
Fox's John Decker at the White House. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi continues to call for an end to the shutdown, saying every day people are being affected.
Americans like Julie from rural Iowa, who says that farmers already are hit hard by tariffs, will feel the squeeze even more now.
Pelosi speaking on the House floor a short time ago. She was later asked about the president's request for a down payment and said it's not a reasonable agreement between the senators. One day after a deadly shooting at a bank in Sebring, Florida, the families of some of the victims speak out. Fox's Gernal Scott has more live.
Elisa, 5 women were killed at the SunTrust Bank Wednesday. We know the identities of 3 of them. Marisol Lopez and Cynthia Lee Watson died alongside Ana Pinon Williams, whose family spoke out today. Brother-in-law Tim Williams said they can't process why the gunman, Zephan Xaver, did this.
But we do know he was influenced by the darkness in this world. We will not try to understand the darkness, but with God's help, we will overcome it.
2 other victims' names were not released. Bond was denied for Xaver on 5 counts of murder. Florida's Attorney General said she'll seek the maximum penalty the law will allow. Lisa.
Gernal, Wall Street at the close. Stocks finished mostly higher after another day of mixed trading. The Dow lost 22. The Nasdaq added 47. The S&P rose 3 points. This is Fox News.
Save big. Save really big when you bundle up your insurance policies with Nanbo Insurance. Insure your home, auto, motorcycle, or business with Nanbo and enjoy great savings, up to 50%. When it comes to insuring your property, no one knows better than the company with over 50 years of service to the community. Don't compromise the things that matter to you most. Call Nanbo today at 477-9754 or visit nanbo.com for more information. Nanbo Insurance, serving you since 1968.
Are you not getting paid what you're worth? Or not reaching your full potential at your job? If you're pioneering, adventurous, competitive, love talking to people, and want to earn $100,000 per year, sell cars on U.S. military bases with Military Auto Source. Start on Guam, stay on Guam, or move to Japan or Korea. To see if you qualify, visit MASEastasiarecruiting.com. Military Auto Source, helping you reach your full potential.
Venezuelan dictator Nicolas Maduro announcing he's closing all Venezuelan embassies and consulates in the U.S.
In the short term, it really looks like Venezuela and the U.S. could possibly be on a collision course. We've just learned that the U.S. has called for a UN Security Council discussion on Saturday. Basically, you have 2 presidents in Venezuela. Juan Maduro, elected fraudulently, according to the U.S., he says he's going to kick out all U.S. diplomats within the next 72 hours. The other president, self-proclaimed Guaido, backed by the U.S., he says no, those U.S. diplomats can stay. What's going to happen at the end of 72 hours? That's Saturday morning. Will Maduro try and use the force of his office to remove U.S. diplomats?
Fox's Steve Harrigan, and the U.S. has just ordered some diplomats out of Venezuela for security reasons. The embassy is to remain open. Hawaii Democrat Tulsi Gabbard formally launching her campaign for president. The 37-year-old representative with the announcement in a video posted on her website. The performers for this year's Grammy Awards have been announced.
Grammy winners Red Hot Chili Peppers, Miley Cyrus, and current multi-Grammy nominee Brandi Carlile are hitting this stage at the upcoming Grammy Awards February 10th. Also performing current nominee Her. She will join Camila Cabello, Cardi B, Dan and Shay, Post Malone, Shawn Mendes, Janelle Monáe, and Casey Musgraves. The 61st Annual Grammy Awards, hosted by Alicia Keys, will air live from the Staples Center in Los Angeles starting at 8 Eastern on CBS. Michelle Polino, Fox News.
Singer Chris Brown has filed a defamation lawsuit in Paris after a woman accused him of rape. Brown denies the allegations. He was released this week after one night in police custody. I'm Lisa Lacera. This is Fox News.
Family Finance has been serving the people of Guam since 1959, and they'll continue to be there for you in the years to come. Whether you're looking to get a personal loan for that summer vacation or paying off those long overdue bills, Family Finance has got you covered. Apply for a personal loan from $1,000 up to $3,500 by calling Family Finance in Hagåtña at 475-4545, Upper Tuon 647-5626, or in Dededo 633-4473. Family Finance has been serving the people of Guam since 1959.
Yeah, buddy. 888-8255 is my telephone number around here. You want to get involved in stuff like that, that'd be absolutely groovy. Portions of the show. This wet, snotty, rainy morning program brought to you by my friends over at King's. Decades worth of feeding you breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Find them today in Tamuning and in Harmon. Also, American President lines where they're shipping the future. Micronesia Renewable Energy. And better believe there's never been a better time to go solar, even on rainy days. And then, of course, the guys over at Guam Regional Medical City, the first choice for all of your specialty care needs.
Security Title is honored to sponsor Ray Gibson on The Point. In 2019, we resolved to continue our mission of protecting and ensuring the land and homes of our beautiful island. Additionally, we resolved to maintain our vital connection to our families and our community. Protehi Itanotmo, protect your land. When it comes to your family land, remember to call the professionals at Security Title, just like you call Ray Gibson in the morning.
And this is the one where I talk about spaghetti at Wendy's. And you're looking at the radio going, wait, hold on a second. You say, hamburgers? Yes, at Wendy's. And we got really, really good breakfast items. Yes. Also, now, fried rice? Yes. What? Now, you're talking about spaghetti from Wendy's? Yes, I am. It's something they're new doing there over at Wendy's. And they've got, it's a zesty Italian sauce and lots and lots of beef. Because it's Wendy's. They know a thing or two about ground beef. So there's plenty of that spicy ground beef in there. And then we got the pasta noodles that complete it, and you mix it all together, and we call that spaghetti. And you can get it now. There's a snack version of it for $3.49, or you can double that, double the size of it for $6.49. That's what they're doing with spaghetti at Wendy's.
Rediscover talk radio here. Your FM News Talk Superstation. This is The Point.
Point. Well, you know, sometimes it's political gossip and smart-ass comments, and every once in a while, you know, we try to figure out if there's ways that we can help people in the community, and there are. In this case, the Coasties. And for the first time in the history of the government of the United States of America, there is a branch of the military service that is affected by this furlough. These folks are working and not getting paid. They're still out there, and if somebody got in all kinds of trouble on the ocean, trust me, the Coast Guard would send somebody out and fix it. Piracy in the high seas, that's one of the other things that they look for. Drug interdiction, a big part of the mission of the Coast Guard. And they're doing it now, but they ain't getting paid to do it.
Yeah, and when you say history, you're absolutely right. The last time it happened was the Revolutionary War.
Exactly.
And we didn't quite exist then.
So here's what they're working on here. The Coast Guard CPO, that's Chief Petty Officers Association, have got a fundraiser tonight at Jimmy D's. It will be at 5 o'clock, rain or shine. I mean, there's all kinds of coverage from the weather over at Jimmy D's, so don't worry about that. $10 gets you a drink. There will be food and drink specials, live auctions, and a bunch of items that have been raffled off. You heard Myra and Dr. Bradley on the radio this morning talking about virtually everyone that they reached out to. Said, look, the Coasties are in trouble, and we want to help. And they said, well, we want to help too. And was it Ron's Diners that he said? Ron's Diners, this is beautiful, says after he heard about this, is that I'm going to leave a table for 10. And all you got to do is show me your Coast Guard ID or show me that you're affected by this, and you sit at that table, and we're going to feed you.
Outstanding.
I love that. I'm in love with that. First Hawaiian Bank has got some loan deferral programs. FHP says, listen, don't worry about paying. You're covered. Your insurance is going to be taken care of. It's going to be covered. Now, if you want to help, and let's say that you are Payless or Cost You Less or one of the other big stores that has a variety of goodies, they are on the lookout for stuff. They need some disposable paper plates and flatware, plastic forks, spoons, knives, that kind of thing. They need a whole bunch of those, obviously, to feed all the people that are going to be coming out. If you are not Payless or Cost You Less, but you'd like to help, they sure could use some veggie trays and fruit trays. Now, it seems to me that for an event like this, you could probably just go and do it yourself. And just go to the store and pick up whatever items you want to include and just bring that tray with you. I'm sure that we will be able to find a table for you to put that on and participate. Otherwise, I'll be looking forward to seeing you there tonight at Jimmy D's to help out the Coasties. And if you're other members of the Federal family, just come on by. 10 after in the morning. I want to say good morning to folks online. Renee Lau is there. My buddy Wayne Brown, Steve Reuter, and Steve. Seeing the name Steve Reuter, Steve is one of the organizers for the Guam International Marathon that's coming up this year that I haven't signed up for, but I'm gonna. And I want you to sign up for it too. It's a buffet of races, so we'll have 5, 10 half marathons and the full marathon represented in there. And I need you to go and sign up now. Need to sign up early. They've added something because they always add something to the mix-up with the International Marathon. So this year. And normally you only get to do this if you're like a top seed, right? This year what they're doing is if you want to, you can personalize your race bib. So no, it's cool. So normally, you sign up for a race and so it's just your number. If you want to customize it, you write on it yourself.
Ah, okay.
But in this case, they can have your race bib totally personalized. So you can put your name down or the name of your running crew. Right, like the Unified Fitness guys. We could make Team Unified or something on our race bibs, or you can put I don't know. You can put a Bible verse if you like to, or a message to yourself. Left, right, left, right, left, right. Maybe you could do something like that, or any other kind of motivational phrase. It's just something to keep yourself occupied during the race. Now, like I said, normally if you want to put your name down, that doesn't generally happen in a lot of races unless you're like the top seed. I mean, if you're the guy that is going to win, they'll automatically have a very low number for you, number one, and some way to personalize it so it's got your name. Very, very cool. So I was delighted to hear about that, and I want to make sure that you can be a part of it as well. My buddy Brad's on the line. Good morning, Brad.
Hey, Ray, how you doing?
I'm not bad. There's a Coastie on the phone.
I just wanted to mention that this shutdown is also affecting retirees. We're not going to get paid either.
Well, why don't you come on by tonight and I'll buy you a beer?
Well, I don't drink, but...
Well, then you can buy me one.
That would work. I have a commitment to the Boy Scouts tonight, but it's not just the active duty folks. They need it way more than I do, but I just wanted to bring that point up.
No, you know what? I appreciate you saying so. I did not know that. I mean, it seems to me that every time, every other day, I learned that there is another group that is being affected by this shutdown. And so now, the revelation is the Coast Guard and the Coast Guard retirees are also being affected by the shutdown with no clear end in sight.
Absolutely. But I thank everybody for all their support. I know Anderson put together a food drive for the Coast Guard, and I certainly appreciate all the help that everybody's bringing up.
Well, you know what would be cool is if there was like a central repository for the information so the Coasties and others in the federal family know what to do and where to go. I think the closest thing that we've got to that is probably the Salvation Army, and they're working with different groups and organizations. But I'll make the offer again here and will until this crisis concludes. If you are a business like Ron's Diner or any number of other, the banks and FHP, if you're doing something that will benefit this group of people that are affected by the shutdown, members of our federal family, let me know about it so I can talk about it ad nauseum on the radio. I will not charge you a dime for the advertising. I just want to know about it so I can pass it along to the listeners so that they know where some of these deals are going to be. Otherwise, the Salvation Army, 477-9873 is the way that you get a hold of Major Tom. Brad, good luck to you. If there's anything that you need, let me know, and we'll see if we can connect you up with whatever assistance it might be.
I'm fine, Ray. I have another retirement and Social Security, but I wanted to thank everybody that is helping out the active duty Coast Guard, and I appreciate all you're doing. Thank you.
Well, it's something wrong in the community, and that's what we do. It's help out as much as we can. I'll see you soon. Have a good weekend. Take care of the Boy Scouts.
All right, you too, Ray. Thanks.
Always prepared. 9:14 in the morning, 888-8255-888-TALK. And again, the phone number for the Salvation Army, 477-9873. No, you don't have to put the headphones on. No. Oh, you want to hear me? You want to hear me better? You don't need those. No. Let me see if I can turn some other microphones on and get into the next portion of the program. Anybody that has been listening over the last, I don't know, when we start doing this, last couple of months, 3 months, something like that, is Friday mornings at 9 o'clock. What I try to do is to enlist somebody who is knock down, drag out, gorgeous, and number one, and number two, has brains, right? I mean, and I'm lucky because we live on Guam, and there are so many women that can answer to both of those. And I've got one in the studio, Shalyn Allen. Good morning.
Yes,
Welcome.
good morning.
Get close to the microphone
Okay,
because
good morning.
I want everybody to be able to. You've got a beautiful voice, and I want everybody to be able to hear it. Anyway, so as I said, you meet both of the criteria here, and I'll back up on how we originally met, how we originally hooked up a couple of years ago.
Sure.
And I can't think of anybody that likes to go and stand in line, specifically the lines over at the Department of Revenue and Taxation.
Absolutely not. Nobody likes to do that.
But you turned that into a job.
I did. We created Registration Express, and actually Registration Express is still active.
Yeah.
I'm not running up to the DRT anymore myself, but we have people that are doing that, and it's good. It's still necessary.
I love the way you say that. We got people now.
Yeah,
because it started off as just you.
It was just me, and we actually at one point even had like 2 locations. But now we're just in Gigo, but we're still running.
Isn't that amazing? And so an entrepreneurial idea, and so how long did it take you to figure out that was going to be something that you did?
It was like very quick, actually. It took me going up to DRT one time with my children when they were new.
Yeah.
And I had my daughter and my son, and we're in line at the DMV, and I thought, this is insane. I can't believe everybody has to take off work to be up here and stand in this long line. And so quickly after that, we created Registration Express.
And so you started getting paid to stand in line.
Yep.
Now, what was your customer base? I mean, how did people find you? How did you find your customers?
It was just like this, actually. I was on a couple of different radio shows. That got me a lot of attention. And then we also did Facebook at the time and just word of mouth. Plus, we wore T-shirts that said Registration Express. Let us stand in line for you. And it was word of mouth. So we had lots of people. We had military. We had people working at Payless next door to the office that were coming in because it made more sense for them to pay us the $20 to stand in line versus taking a whole day off of work to go do that.
Did you make a lot of friends at Rev and Tax?
We did, actually, because you know what? We were making it easier for them, too, because we knew exactly what we needed to have for each transaction. We've all been in line up there and saw somebody that forgot their insurance card or didn't know they needed a safety inspection.
Right.
And so we I think we expedited it. We made it a smoother process.
Now, was there, I don't want to say a learning curve, but was there a bureaucracy curve that needed to get overcome with all of that? Was there one of those where you get up to one of the tellers, one of the people at the head of the line, and they didn't know what to do with you because you weren't the person whose name was on the card?
Yes, absolutely. And especially once we started getting busy, because we would show up and we would have 50 transactions.
No way.
And they would be like, what are you doing? No, you can't do this.
Yeah.
So, but we were just 50 people, but all in one.
Mm-hmm.
So that took a little bit to work around, but we did it.
Now, did you need to have some kind of, what's the process? I mean, if I needed to get my, re-register the car, or if I needed to do something else over at Rev and Tax, what was the process for me? Did I need to give you special dispensation or power of attorney or something?
No power of attorney, nothing like that. We all we needed is a copy of your insurance, registration, and your safety inspection, and you can do it. I mean, we can do it for anybody. Can do that for you.
Really?
Yeah.
I always thought it had to be me, and if it wasn't me, I needed to write out a letter with a DNR and last will and testament and that kind of thing.
Not at all. No. It's pretty simple. I mean, for the only ones that we might need a little bit of extra approval for is for like the military, how they have the Soldier Sailor Relief Act in order for us to process one of those.
Oh, I see.
But we worked it out with them, and we have a form that they just sign and agree, and we have a copy of their driver's license, and we're good to go.
And so there's still a registration express, and there are still people that will do that for you.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yep.
Now what happens when you run up on one of these 50 transactions that you're doing, and there is something wrong? There is a blemish in the system, like they didn't pay for this, or they were expecting it was going to be a standard re-registration, but because it was late, there were penalties and things like that. What do you do in that case?
So in situations like that, actually, if there's a penalty, we would know before we got up there because we can track that. You can see it from the dates on the registration. And we know how to process the fines or the fees. But we do have things when we get up there, and maybe that car was actually sold. It's an old registration or something like that. So then we just come back and have to call the customer and return it. Work it out.
So you go back in line. Do you charge extra for that?
No, it's still a process. I mean, maybe they didn't know, or there was a situation, things like that come up. So then we would just come back. It would just take another day for us to process it.
So mostly Department of Revenue and Taxation, right? That's the sole location for Registration Express?
Yes.
And is it just registrations that you do?
No, we do everything except for driver's license. So we can renew business license, pay GRTs, but just not driver's license because you have to take your picture.
Now, is this for individuals, or do you find you're working with a lot of businesses as well?
We were working with some car dealerships, and that was going really well. And then we kind of lightened our load and realized that was a little bit too much. But so mostly it's individuals at this point, but it was really fun, and I was doing it then when we were doing the car dealerships.
But the crazy thing was you were doing it with the babies essentially.
No, they weren't going with me. No,
you only did it that one time.
That one time for myself.
I thought the
like
kids were.
Yeah, no, they weren't going with me no. I learned my lesson that time. That's why we did the.
So do you have anybody over 55 that works for you?
No, but that's genius.
See, right?
Yes,
isn't it? Because they get the faster line.
I know. How many people would hate us then? Everybody's cutting them.
I get that from time to time as well. Because I'll stand in the senior citizen line because I'm over 55, and people go, no, this is for old people. I'm over 55.
I qualify.
But you don't look old. Well, it doesn't matter whether I look old or not. Here's my driver's license, and I get to stand in this line.
Take advantage of that.
So is that something that you're looking for? You think maybe you'd hire?
Do you want a job, Ray? You want a job?
Just wait, specifically to stand in line?
Yeah.
No.
Right? Even then,
I don't know. Are there other places where you think about going? You talked about the military, and I'm sure that there are some lines that folks in the military have to stand in from time to time.
Sure.
On base, whatever.
Maybe. No.
Will you go shopping for me?
No.
No. See, no.
But that's something that maybe we should think about, right? I mean, I know lots of people that order their groceries online in other places, and they get them delivered like that. We definitely should consider
in Japan, because this is now this is an entrepreneur swap meet, and you can get involved if you want to, and see if maybe there's some ideas, because it's important sometimes just to be able to have an idea, but you don't know what to do with it or who to link up with, and that's part of the idea behind some of these conversations that I have. But in Japan, as an example, if you don't want to haul your luggage to the airport with you, there are people that'll go, you know what, I'm going in that direction. I'll I'll take your bags, and they will be waiting for you at the airport.
I love that.
So, you know, because especially if you're traveling with little kids and stuff, you just to carry on and the kid, and then you get in the taxis, the cabs and the trains and the buses, so you don't have to worry about, you know, the luggage getting hauled all over the place. These people will take care of it and drop it off for you.
So many great ideas.
Well, what are the other ones that you've got? I mean, are there, because this one here hits you like a bolt out of the blue and seems like the most obvious thing in the world, and then you did it. Was that the end of the great ideas for Shalyn?
No, I opened, actually, since I saw you last, I've opened Welcome Home Realty. At the same time, while I was doing Registration Express, I was also a realtor. I already had my license, and I was working under Nick Captain and Captain Realty Advisors.
Who's an awesome guy.
Yeah, he's great.
And so you get to hang out for a while with Siska as well?
Absolutely. So
what a great brain that woman has got.
Absolutely. Yep, exactly. Yep. So great mentors. I've had really good guidance, and so finally I just decided, Nick was leaving kind of. He's 1 foot on, 1 foot off, right? So I thought, you know, I'm just going to open my own. And I did that 3 years ago, and we've got 8 realtors that are working for us. I interviewed a new one yesterday that I think is coming on board, so that's exciting.
I said there's this Frank Charfris that's writing to me now on Facebook Live. Yeah, said dropping some kind of a hint for stuff for us to talk about here. Good morning. We are having a home buying seminar at Shalyn's office February 23rd at 9. And if you're interested in a home buying seminar, contact 475-7151, 475-7151 if you want to be participate in a home buying seminar.
Absolutely. That's going to be February 23rd at our office in Gigo.
Is it hard to buy a house? I bought a couple of houses in my life at one point or another. I don't think I needed a whole seminar.
No, but I think that it just gives people that maybe are having a little bit of cold feet a little bit of guidance. They have an opportunity to come somewhere and ask questions and just feel comfortable with other first-time home buyers.
Okay, so question number one, is there any inventory? Is there anything to buy out there?
We do have things to buy right now, and we're seeing things being built in Judo.
Has Judo Joe sold his house yet?
Who?
Judo Joe. What is it? The $6 million house down in the end of Talaverde?
Not that I'm aware of, but maybe contact those listing agents and see what
go look in the MLS.
Yeah.
Go look in the MLS. Yeah. That's one of those things. Every once in a while, I'll just kill an hour or two looking at some of the opportunities on the MLS. And the crazy thing is, you get these drastic fixer-uppers. I mean, abandoned homes and things like that, and they're still moving for $250,000.
They are. It's bizarre, but I know that MLS is so much fun to go and browse. I spoke at Ocean View Middle School in Agate, and that's exactly what we did for like 30 minutes. We were just like looking at that, and it's something that's fun, but it gets their minds thinking about it. Like what?
But it's the what if questions. But I think the biggest question and the biggest hurdle I think for a lot of people right now is access to capital and just being able to mentally justify what for a lot of people and they aren't going to be the greatest houses in the world. And we're not talking about McMansions here, but anymore you're starting to see mortgages, monthly mortgages. For even modest places up around $2,000 a month, $2,500 a month. And there's a lot of people that at the end of the paycheck, they don't have that kind of money.
Absolutely. I mean, we're seeing it also with rentals, though, right? The rental market also has increased so much. It's really difficult to find affordable rentals at this point.
And we're not building affordable rentals anymore.
They're trying. It's something that they're thinking about doing. I know.
My old man once told me, there will always be poor people. There will always be a market for poor people. But and even if you wanted to get into that market where you're doing $750 a month to $1,000 a month rentals, it's difficult to construct at that level now because number one, you can't find the contractors, and number two, the cost of the construction is $225 a square foot.
Absolutely, yeah.
And that's not an exaggeration, right?
No, it's not. It's not.
That's where it gets tricky. So the other side of the equation, though, is do you get a lot of people coming to you and saying, "Sell my house, sell my apartment complex, manage my property"?
We do. Yep, we definitely have all of the above. We've got some listings in, let's see, where are we? We're in Tamuning. We've got some listings in Talafofo right now that we're working with. And definitely property management. But with property management, we get a lot of people because it is difficult to find people to do repairs for them.
So I've been a landlord in my life, and it was my least favorite thing. I absolutely hated it.
Yes, it's very difficult. And most of our owners are off island, too, so it makes it even that much more difficult, right? To coordinate. But yes.
You don't realize how much crap in a house can break.
And
for no reason. It's just, I'm sorry, what happened to the commode? It broke. How did it break? How did you break that?
They have no idea.
The air conditioner doesn't work, and it has to be replaced now.
Yeah.
Which that's got to make you crazy.
It does a little bit,
Yeah.
but I mean that's what we do. We're
You got
happy
a
to do
guy?
it. Yeah,
You got a guy for that?
everybody's got a guy, right? You got to have a guy for that, a guy for that.
I need a tile guy. Who's your tile guy?
I've got
or is that
one.
the biggest? It's the biggest secret in the world, right?
That's kind of it because they're so busy. If I give him to you, he's not going to have time for me.
Then it can't work for you. Now, where's your place at?
We're in Jigo, next to the Bank of Guam in Jigo. I love being up there because we're the only real estate office up there,
Right.
and we're close to Anderson and the Marine base. It's
You get the VFW.
and the VFW is conveniently located.
And they sell beer at reasonable prices. The only problem is it's way the heck up in Jigo.
Yeah, it is.
As well. So there's other parts of the conversation we could roll into, and I might just take a quick break here before we go into that and talk about some of the other things and maybe the fun of being a woman in business on Guam, which is one of the other places I want to take the conversation. Her name is Shalyn Allen, and if you're interested in buying a house from her or selling a house with her or renting, or maybe you're one of those people that doesn't want to be a landlord anymore and wants somebody else to take the place over, how do people find you?
You can find us on Facebook. We're also welcomehomerealtyguam.com, and our office number is 653-9474.
And again, Frank wants me to tell you about the big seminar for home buyers, 475-7151. 9:29 in the morning, we'll call that iConnect time. Swing by the nearest iConnect and talk to them about different plans that they can put together in the technology for you for push-to-talk and mobile and internet plans in 2019.
Hi, welcome to this Subway ad for our all-new Ultimate Cheesy Garlic Bread. How would you like it?
I'll take a skeptical grandma.
Set in her ways?
A smidge.
Grandma, try this Ultimate Meatball Marinara made with ultimate cheesy garlic bread, melted mozzarella, Parmesan, garlic butter spread. It's just like yours.
Like mine? My grandmother's recipe?
Try it.
You know, my grandmother's cheesy garlic bread was never all that.
Subway, make it what you want. Limited time only at participating restaurants.
Guam Regional Medical City. We bring the healthcare advances of the world directly to you. We are an acute care hospital that complements your needs with our robust outpatient specialty clinics. From preventative care to critical care, we strive for consistent excellence at GRMC. Our core philosophy is where patients are partners, which means we work as a team to make a healthier version of you. For more information about GRMC, visit us at grmc.gu.
The hour and Ray Gibson Show. Shalyn Allen in the studio, and it's a Friday morning with a pretty lady, which means there's going to be a selfie. I'm gonna put it up on Facebook, and everybody will go gaga over the picture. So being a woman in business on Guam, is that just not a piece of fried gold? Do you love that?
I love it. Absolutely.
What's your favorite parts?
My favorite part is really the networking that we have with each other. I'm part of the Guam Women's Chamber of Commerce, and that's such a great group of ladies, and they're so encouraging and motivating and just give great support, and we all really support each other. Our office even is...
It feels like there's a lot of work that goes on in that particular group. It always feels like they're always doing programs and stuff.
Gosh, they're so busy. They're on it all the time. So many events and...
Yeah, I know. And your events, they start at 7 o'clock in the morning, and we're done at noon, so everybody can go work for the rest of the day. So I'm in guy kind of organizations where if we're going to have an event, it's all day and it ends at happy hour.
Yep. No. We start early, like you said, 7 a.m. is when our meetings start, and so it gives us time to be able to still have our day, get done before we have to pick up kids from school and do the mom thing.
Right.
You know? Yeah.
Can't you hire somebody to do the mom thing?
You can, but we cherish that, right? You have to. That's the best.
Well, stand in line and pick up the kids, and we'll do car line, we'll do soccer, and
the kids are why we do it all, right? That's the whole point of this.
I think you're right. So there is that sisterhood network that you've got that works for you.
Absolutely, and within our office, even there's 8 realtors, and they're all ladies so far. And we have.
Well, who's this Frank guy then?
Frank is the husband of one of our realtors, but also he's a huge Welcome Home Realty cheerleader. I know that for sure. So
There's too many realtors on Guam now, aren't there?
there's a lot. I believe there's 453.
I remember when there were
that.
like 10, and I knew
Yeah.
all of them. And then all of a sudden, everybody started talking about the military buildup, and then everybody took Mo Cotton's classes, and before you knew it, we got a gazillion of these licensed real estate agents out there, and a bunch of different houses that they work under.
There are.
But there's a great fraternity among real estate agents around here as well, isn't there?
Absolutely. Our association is really close. I think I'm on a couple of committees under GAR at Guam Association of Realtors, and the support that we give each other is huge. And we have to work together, right?
Yes.
In order to be successful, we have to be able to represent our buyers and our sellers, and the realtors have to get along and be able to make a deal successful.
So what's the trickiest part of that? And we can talk about the relationships between the different, because the buyer and the seller are not necessarily going to be working with the same realtor.
Exactly, and on Guam we're allowed to do that, but actually in a lot of other places it's called dual agency. It's actually illegal in a lot of other places.
Oh, really?
We're not allowed. Yeah, but on Guam we're allowed to do that. And
I can't imagine that.
Yeah, but it does. I mean, it kind of makes sense, right? How do you represent a buyer to the best of your ability and a seller to the best of your ability if you're representing both of them? But sometimes that also makes it easier because you can make it communication shorter.
I'm trying to think of all of the transactions that I've ever done in my life, and it's this guy from this house and another guy from another realty company, and both of them kind of working together. And then the crazy part is it's kind of almost lawyering, because each one of them is sending messages back between the buyer and the seller through each other.
Exactly.
So there's a whole lot of passing notes in class back and forth, and I think that might end up being the trickiest part of it.
I think so. I think that does make it a little more difficult, and definitely adds on time too. That way, sometimes all four of us will be in different places.
Yes.
So I think that's probably one of the biggest ones, is being able to communicate quickly. Luckily, we have obviously our smartphones and all of that, but.
What about management of expectations? I mean, there's a business question to be sure, but I mean, how do you manage the expectations of, say, a seller who is looking at the house and recalling the countless trips to Home Depot and Benson for all of the improvements that they made? And, oh, look, we fixed the kitchen. Oh, look, we fixed the bathroom. Oh, look, there's a place out in the back that we get to barbecue in.
But then they did it themselves.
Yeah, you do it yourself, and you go, okay, I should be able to get $500,000 for this property.
Yes. That's something that we end up supporting, because yes, they're proud of their property, and we have to encourage that, right? We don't want to make anyone feel bad about their hard work being put into their homes. And a lot of times it's really up to the buyer at that point. So the buyer comes in and sees the house. Well, maybe the buyer doesn't like how they fix those kitchen cabinets.
I'm going to have to do it again when I buy the house.
See, exactly. So then that becomes something that we negotiate. So maybe the buyer doesn't like how the seller set it up, but
they're not the only. They might not be the only downer in the conversation, because because there's so many other agents in this force field, up to and including the appraisers that the bank sends over. And
we love our appraisers.
Oh yeah, of course you do. Of course you do. I had a hard grader once, though. It cost me $10,000 on a deal because he didn't like the way the shower head was, and it was one of those things. It's a 2-minute fix, right? Less than that. Is because in that shower we like to have the stream, not a shower.
Yep.
So I took the shower head off.
Yep.
And he dinged me on that, and that cost me $10,000 on the deal. And I said, "Whoa, hold on, I can screw this thing back in."
Exactly.
He says, "It's too late. I already signed it."
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
That's a horror story.
I wanted to throat punch that guy.
Yeah, I bet you would.
So and then the banks, because once the appraiser puts that number down, that's the number the bank looks at, regardless of what you and I might have negotiated.
Absolutely.
I hate that.
I know. Yeah, it makes it a little bit difficult, especially with things like that are so minor.
Yeah, and the bank said we'll still give you the loan, but we're only going to give you this much, because you can come over with your own dough if you want, but this is the limit on what we're going to give you.
That's one of the things we try to guide our sellers on prior to an appraiser coming through. There are things that can cause such a $10,000 difference in a purchase. Paint is another one. one. Air conditioner's not working. That's another one.
Yeah,
Those are expensive things.
Yeah,
right?
so make sure before you called the guy in, before you went by, if you every rock outside needs to be accounted for. Everything inside needs to be accounted for. Chris online asking, has there ever been an ethics trial for a Guam realtor at the GAR? Are you aware of anything like that?
Ethics trial. I'm not aware of anything like that. I'm not on any of the boards or the committees that deal with those situations. I know that we have mediators within our association, and we try to handle things in-house a lot of times. But, yeah, that I'm not certain of, no.
Okay. And just while I've got you an opportunity, I want to say happy birthday to Sherry Lynn Diffin-Torum, who, among others, Lynn Vinsbora, Polino, et cetera, are celebrating their birthdays with me here on the program. Great to have them along with this as well. So busy mom as well.
Yes. Very busy mom, right?
Mm-hmm. What's your day like? Tell me about your day.
So for like today, I had to get up and take the kids to school and race back down here in the traffic, which was crazy.
To be here,
the kids are in Jigo. Yep. And I work usually 9 to 3 are our office hours, and then I pick the kids up from school and we do homework and we do our activities and
nice.
We do it all over again the next day.
Right. So I mean, the very typical life. Is it easier or harder do you find as your own boss?
I find that it's a little bit of both. My kids definitely have gone to house showings with me. They definitely do their homework in my office more often than at home. But they see me working. They see what I have to do. And I think it's good for them to be able to experience that.
Do you think they'll imitate that?
Maybe one of them.
Well, I think we're talking about your daughter because, oh boy, I tell you what, she was. It was great. The reason we got together and the idea behind Shalyn coming into the program here today was we were actually all on a hike. We call it that, kind of hiking on Sunday. I had for the first time gone up to the top of Mount Humudzang Manglo where the crosses are, and smitten by your little girl. What's her name?
Liliana,
and just absolutely smitten with her because she talked all the way up and talked all the way down, right up until, and I talked a little bit about this on Monday, right up until she got a hint of competition from one of the other kids who began to race her down from Humudzang Manglo, and she didn't want to give up at all.
Now she's focused, right?
So the one kid takes off and she tears off after him, and all of the grown-ups are too tired to follow him down. So, okay, I'm a runner, athlete, so I got behind them because there's a couple of tricky parts on the trail and I didn't want to have to carry anybody down. So I kind of coach him on slow down here, take it easy down there. But she just, what a character she is.
Isn't she great?
Yeah.
I know. She's super competitive. Yep, absolutely. Thank you for that, by the way, though. That was so nice. I love that group is great for hiking with the kids. I love that we all kind of step in and help each other and
there's common moms, common dads, and things like that. So that was a great opportunities and a great place to raise kids, isn't it?
On Guam, absolutely. Guam's so great, and I love that it's so easygoing.
See, I thought that when we first met, I figured, military wife, something like that, going to be here a couple of years, found a thing to do over at the Department of Revenue and Taxation, make a couple of dollars, and so when we met each other again, I was blown away because I was like, wow, you're still here.
I know. I've been on Guam for 13 years, actually. Originally, I actually came to Guam as a nanny, not even as a military spouse. So. And I just never left.
Okay, so I don't remember hearing the part about coming to Guam as a nanny.
I know, yes. I met the family in San Francisco. I was working at a Starbucks, and they were on vacation and said that they were looking for a nanny. And one of my other jobs at the time was being a nanny for a 2-child psychologist, so I had a great resume. And they offered me a 1-year position on Guam, and I was like, sure, why not?
Travel?
Yeah, why not? I didn't know where Guam was. I actually thought it was a Hawaiian island at the time. No clue. But here we are. And I came, and I'm a lover of Guam, not leaving.
So tell me about this nanny job. What's involved being a nanny? Because I got friends. There's my millionaire buddy Jim lives in Hong Kong, and he's got a lady. He's got a live-in yaya, is what they refer to him as in the Philippines.
Sure.
And she sees to the kids. There's breakfast on the table every morning. The food's prepared
basically
and the clothes are ironed and all of that.
Basically what I did for them. Yep. So kind of, but I didn't live in the home. I had my own apartment here. So.
Do you think there might be an opportunity for something like that here? Because you almost never hear about the nannies. I never hear about it. I had a lady that watched this when we were kids growing up. But I think as soon as my mom came home, she split. It's not like she stayed around to cook and take care of clothes and stuff.
Absolutely, I think there is, though. Just like we were just talking about with all of these women in business at this point, and not even just the women. I mean, the men too. Everybody's so busy and everybody's working so hard. And to have a nanny, it's just kind of nice to be able to have somebody that comes and helps. And at the time, the children I was nannying for, only one of them was in school. So the other one, she was, and both parents were working, and they were successful business people here. And so.
Were you a live-in nanny?
I was not. I did have an apartment here, so I was in a separate location.
So
but
did they pay for that?
They did.
What are the financial arrangements, in this nanny business?
It wasn't great, but it was the experience,
Right.
the idea. But yes, they paid for my car and my apartment, and then I had a little bit of money that I made on the side for my salary. So. But it was great. It was a good experience, and look where I am now. I changed my life.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure. I was just there's 1,001 different rabbit holes that you can jump into and out of in this whole nanny thing. Did you have to go to school for it?
I didn't, but like I was saying, in California, I was working for 2 child psychologists as their nanny, so I kind of had some guidance from them and good references. And
do you ever child psychologist on your kids?
A little bit, of course we have to. Okay. Although Liliana, I don't know about her.
No, I think she's the one that's training you.
I know.
But with the regard, because there's people in your office that are listening right now. I can see them on Facebook Live. Hi, Tanya. Do you ever child psychology on your employees?
Of course not.
No, real. Heaven forbid. No. Why would you ask me such a question?
No, of course you're reading people, and I know how to read them and like what they need and guide them. And a lot of these ladies have been with me since the start, and it's all different personalities. But
do you ever child psychology your customers?
My customers, absolutely.
Yes.
You have to, right? We're reading them, and that's going to make their lives easier as we're doing a transaction as well,
Toughest part of your job?
The toughest part of my job would be being available 24 hours a day, because we kind of have to be. We have people messaging us from all over the world and asking questions, and sometimes that's a little bit difficult, but
that's the game, though.
It is, absolutely.
When I know a few people that have, like I said, my relationship with the real estate people on Guam goes back decades, and my recollection of the best piece of advice that I ever heard one give to the other was answer your messages.
Yep.
If somebody calls you, you call them right back. If somebody sends you an email, you get right back to them on it. You get a letter, type out a letter back. You just got to maintain this correspondence. Absolutely. Because that's the deal.
And like you said, we have 453 or 56 realtors, and we have, the competition is giant here. So if you don't respond quickly, they're just going to move on to the next one.
What would you like to see more of in the real estate game here? And you can say inventory if you like, but are there things that you go, I need more of those because I can sell the hell out of them?
In our field, for us, I would like to see more education opportunities. Our association is really trying to build that. I think that the National Association gives us resources as well for education, but I feel like it doesn't really necessarily always apply to Guam. Our market's a little bit different than a lot of other places. But within our market, I would love to be able to see some more affordable housing. It's really difficult when people are calling and asking us for $400 to $700 rentals, and we have to say, we have one option, one, maybe two, so those are things that I think are important for us right now.
It's just getting the inventory up in a certain class. And remember one of the Godwins talking about a particular kind of build that you've got to do, and you've got to build for the market that's out there. And as you say, Guam is kind of in a peculiar place market-wise because there are so many other factors acting in this field up to and including the military, and the incredible amount of off-base housing and off-base rentals that we seem to have here.
Yes, there's so many, right? But I think also that's feeding our economy, right? How many people do you know that have military rentals that are providing to their family?
Oh, yeah. And it's sweet money. It comes in and you get kind of used to it. We've got neighbors that and I'm seeing more and more of this where I stay. There are a number of houses that have sat idle for years or have otherwise been gura. opportunities, Section 8
Yep.
rentals.
Sure.
And many of those now, as the Section 8 moves out, I'm seeing a lot of repair trucks coming by. I'm seeing a lot of, guys doing glass, and I see a lot of guys doing doors and cabinets and tiles. And then pretty soon, here comes this Navy family that moves into that house. And I'm going, okay, somebody's finally taking the property and putting it to work. So I think we're going to see more of that. That's my prediction.
I think so too. As long as we can keep some contractors around to be able to do that work, right? And we're so limited there. I know.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna be...
well, no, it's tricky. I don't know what more can be done with it now, and just when it seems to me that there might be something happening, and we might have some direction with the district court forcing the issue with the Department of Homeland Security. Then all of a sudden we get another side of the Department of Homeland Security that says, "Oh yeah, you can do whatever you need to do with contractors. We'll work with you on H-2Bs, but no more Filipinos." Well, guess what?
So
that's where
ridiculous.
they come from.
And this is where I think that they forget about us a little bit, because Guam, are you kidding me? I think that it's such a different market, again, than everything else in the States. I think we should have different, we should get different rules, right?
Yeah.
Should apply differently to
Well,
us.
it's the territory thing, and the fact is that we've only got the one guy in Congress in Washington, D.C. that really is thinking about the advocacy for the people of Guam, but I don't know that there's anybody else outside of former Congresswoman Madeline Bradalio working with the governor's office. It's not like there's this whole big lobbying crowd that says, "Hey, don't forget about Guam."
Yeah, and actually our association, we actually have our own lobbyists that we push to try and make real estate changes.
Call your lobby. No, well, have the GAR guy calls the national guys, and have the national guys go to bat for Guam. I mean, there's no reason why we could not use an association of associations.
Right, exactly. So that's kind of the idea, and especially because our association is so large, we try to impact it a little bit, but Michael St. Nicholas, he was amazing. Actually, even when I did Registration Express, he's the one person that responded to me when I was having issues getting through DRT.
Really?
So I had emailed.
Oh, go ahead.
I had emailed a few of them, and he's the only one that responded and called me into his office and talked to me about my issues with Rev and Tax and what I thought we could do differently and how we could make it better. So anyway, a little shout out there to him.
That's all right. He's actually in town and probably listening to the broadcast right now. He's probably waiting for me to play that Chris Barnett piece that came across yesterday. Chris unhappy because he doesn't have an office yet.
Oh.
Maybe he should call you up at Welcome Home Realty.
I'm happy to help.
How are you doing with commercial properties?
We do a little bit of commercial properties, mostly rentals, not really sales. It's a slow market, but on Guam we have to be able to do everything.
Well, I'm just thinking about the retail space economy and wondering what's going to be happening with that. It seems to me that there's fewer and fewer brick and mortar locations, and anymore the idea behind once upon a time, if you wanted to eat a certain kind of food, you would go to a restaurant and eat it. And now it's Thursday night and you want to eat 5 different kind of food. You go to the food trucks.
It's amazing.
But those food trucks are there. I mean, they're office on wheels, they're restaurant on wheels. They're not necessarily participating in the real estate game, in the retail game.
Sure. No, they're not. But it's also really exciting and interesting aspect for us. I think it's neat because look at how many new restaurants we're getting out of it. But they're starting as food trucks, and then we're seeing them grow, and we're seeing them move into restaurant locations. Right?
There'd be
look
more
at Poke Fry.
Yeah, more of those kinds of things. I look at Poke Fry once a week. I am at Poke Fry.
And Moses, right? Didn't they start as a food truck as well?
I believe I believe that is the case with them, or certainly very, very small kind of boutique places, and and so I've always been delighted to see how those businesses can grow. But it's not just a different kind of food. I think in both the case of Poke Fry and certainly at Moses, there's a customer service ethic at work there as well, and there's a frequency in the room when you walk in that I think is unlike some of the other places. So I think it's just trying to figure out what that frequency is. What noise does your business make? As they say, Tanya, giving you the send off here. Shalyn has been an excellent broker and mentor in real estate. We're always learning in our office, and the number one lesson you teach is.
I think that it's most important that we are friendly with our customers, and our office with welcome home, right? The idea is that they come in, that it's not aggressive, that we're not chasing people down, we're not trying to push people. We want you to be happy as soon as you move in. We don't want you to move in and feel like we pushed you into that.
Does it smell like cookies?
Almost. Coffee, definitely coffee.
and cookies.
We've
It should
got
be noted, Ray.
Kidzania and juice boxes and the whole thing.
I think she
but-
child psychologied you about 3 times during this interview.
Really?
Yeah.
But
She's good.
You got to tell me which ones they were. So
We'll play it back. I'll show you.
Okay, gotcha. 9:52 in the morning. Shalyn, thanks so much for coming by the station. I hope that your story and the small humble beginnings, Nanny and then Registration Express and now your own realty shop.
Yep.
I hope that's inspirational for some of the young ladies that are listening. I sometimes worry that all they can think about is boyfriend and mall and don't realize that there's a million other doors, and open it just to see what's on the other side. You might like it.
Yeah, just take that risk, take a jump, try something new. It's always it pays off.
What did I say? Courage is always rewarded. It's 9:52 in the morning. We'll take a quick break, and I'm going to selfie with Shalyn, and we'll tell you how the rest of the show is going to go.
Cheers to 80 years. It's our 80th anniversary and the gifts are on us. 80 gift certificates, 8 shopping sprees, 8 staycations, and 1 round trip flyaway for 2 to Manila. So how do you enter? Calvo's Insurance personal home and auto customers are automatically entered. Non-Calvo's customers may enter by receiving a qualified quote. It's our way of saying thank you for trusting us for the past 80 years. For more details, visit calvos.com/giveaway or call 472-6816. Calvo's Insurance, serving Guam for 80 years.
Docomo Pacific is making the Better Together bundle even better. 2 great services plus more. Get unlimited local calls, SMS, and 20 gigs of data, plus unlimited home internet for $109 a month. Sign up today and get free installation and choose between a free Galaxy S8, S8 Plus, or $100 off select devices. Mobile plus online from Docomo Pacific. Better together. Some conditions apply. See store for details.
I got a note here from my cousin Tommy. He says, hey, would you join in trying to raise awareness for prostate cancer? Can you please put an 8-ball on your wall? Don't comment. Just send this on to all of your male mates. Hold your finger on the message and hit forward. Cheers. Yeah, Tommy, I'd be happy to do that, but I don't actually get involved in those kinds of things on Facebook because I might post something up on my own wall or set up another picture or something like that on the Facebook Live. But generally, I try not to get into somebody else's what do you call it, mailbox without their permission. I'm not crazy about that kind of thing. So you think she child psychologied me? Really? Like I said, which?
Oh, yeah.
Was it obvious?
Well, it was to me, but...
You're supposed to stop that. You're supposed to press a button or make the light blink or something like that when it happened.
I was in tears. I was laughing.
Does this happen all the time? No, wait a second. We did 3 interviews this morning. Was I child psychology all 3 times?
No.
Just
this
one. Okay, so it's just Shalyn. All right, so there we go. 9:55 in the morning, and what a great week this has been. I got to say, thanks very much to all the newsmakers on Guam for giving me ample enough to talk about. And in fact, newsmakers in far away Washington D.C., even in the midst of this government shutdown, they've been able to provide me with enough stuff to talk about to kill several hours on the radio. It was Tuesday morning that we got word that there wasn't going to be any more Filipinos that were going to be coming in into H-2A and the H-2Bs, and depending on who you listen to, the sky has fallen for a number of people as a result of this. And I'm going. I frankly, maybe it's the view from the cheap seats. I'm not in the construction game, but I don't see how it is that much different than it was on Monday before we got word about this rule change. It's not as though they have been going crazy over at Homeland Security, giving out a whole lot of passes for civilian side construction.
Well, and the fact is, we've been told by a couple of officials here that the NDAA projects are kind of, they're void of this particular requirement because there's already language in the NDAA bill that gives us permission to bring them over.
Yep. All right. So what am I getting? A couple of notes here. This one here is going to be important for people that are going to be in the Kick the Fat deal. Last chance packet pickup. is going to be today between 8 and 5. Please bring some kind of ID with you or make sure that somebody there knows you. I want to say, is there some about late signups? Because I want to say that that you'll be able to sign up, but it won't, quote, be official was something I heard the other day. At any rate, if you want to be a part of the Kick the Fat, then head over to the Agana Shopping Center and then go to the Agana Payless in the lobby area. I think they're down to just that now in terms of a packet pickup. And you might want to take your chances. Just show up on race day tomorrow, 5 o'clock. Showtime, go time for both races is going to be at 6 o'clock, or just listen for the sound of the fireworks going off. That's what's going to be. Now, the Chamber of Commerce has sent me something I want to pass along to you because I'm a good chamber member here. I'll be a better one as soon as I pay my bill. But the Chamber of Commerce says, we are pleased to announce an opportunity to meet Governor Lulian Guerrero. Yay! You know, my guess is, because it's the Chamber, and she used to be the president of Bank of Guam. I'm pretty sure they're already familiar with each other. Chamber is pleased to announce that our new governor of Guam, the Honorable Lourdes A. Leon Guerrero, is scheduled to speak at our first general membership meeting of 2019. It's going to take place Wednesday the 30th at the Hilton Guam Resort and Spa. Door's going to open at 11:15, and then they'll do a little bit of chamber yak. Usually Bobby Shringy gets up and says a few things about what's going on and some of the projects they're working through over at the chamber, and then they will go into a conversation with Lulian Guerrero. Now, I think the last time that Auntie Lou was running around with that crowd might have been at a debate that we did with the Chamber of Commerce. You might recall that, where it was her and Ray was there, and Dennis was there, and Frank was there, and Governor Carl T.C. Gutierrez was there. And I remember it vividly because she not only did she want to deliver her remarks standing up, her opening and closing statement standing up, she wanted to do it from my podium. She didn't want to deliver it with the guys. So further differentiating herself from the crowd. And I also recall that debate in particular because while I had expected the statements that I heard from the guys, she got up and started drawing blood almost immediately, and that to me was kind of unexpected. She certainly got my attention, and maybe it was things like that that caused her to that helped propel her to the office of governor. Now, there was going to be another chamber debate that was going to include Ray Tenorio and Frank Uggan, you might recall, and Lulian Guerrero, and she declined the opportunity because she felt that that Frank wasn't a legitimate candidate. So this might be since that initial debate, maybe the first time that she's had a chance to cozy up with the chamber. It'll be next Wednesday, and I'm sure that means that there'll be headlines on that next Thursday morning. Hey, you make headlines this weekend. This is what I want you to do. It's right there at the top of the Facebook Live. It says, do something epic. We've waited all week for the weekend, and as far as I'm concerned, the weekend will begin in seconds for me. So when it starts for you, like I said, do something epic. I want to be talking about it on Monday morning. We're KUSG Agana. Here's Fox News.
Fox News. President Trump with a suggestion that could bring some lawmakers to the table and end the 34-day-old government shutdown.
One of the ideas suggested is they open it, they pay a sort of a prorated down payment for the wall, which I think people will agree that you need. You need the wall. In fact, I see a lot of the Democrats are almost all of them are breaking, saying, look, walls are good, walls are good.
But House Speaker Nancy Pelosi didn't seem receptive to the idea when asked about it by reporters, saying she didn't think that would be a reasonable arrangement. This after the Senate couldn't reach an agreement on two bills that would have ended the shutdown. Fox's Jared Halpern live on Capitol Hill.
A pair of votes failed to advance two competing proposals to end the government shutdown. The Senate blocked legislation based off President Trump's border wall proposal, 50-47. That was short of the 60 votes needed. A second proposal from Democrats extended current government funding through early February. It also fell short, 52-44, but found support from 6 Senate Republicans. Groups of bipartisan senators are now meeting behind closed doors, working on potential compromise.